Focus on Liberia. We discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Friday Night Debate on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition of Friday Night Debate, we're going to be debating the issues that matters in Liberia. A lot of things, a lot of issues are happening in our country, and we want to talk about them. We want to debate those issues. Number one on the menu, we saw Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott at the LNP headquarters to answer questions concerning alleged murder and assassination attempt at her home. We also want to talk a little bit about the Nigerian elections. What parallels do we see between the results in Nigeria and what is to take place in Liberia? Also, the CEO of the Spoon Network has stepped down. What happened? Is it timely? Is it too late, too soon? Were the Spoonful or the ex-Spoon panelists were they right? To talk about all of this, I have with me from G-Talk, Glendy Juniors. G-Talk, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Dennis. Thank you.
I also have another independent, Wele A. Momba, who's joining us. Wele, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and good having me. Hello, audience.
Both Glendy and Wele are independent. Let's welcome the unabashed and unapologetic citizen, Jerome Gaiman. Mr. Gaiman, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's always an honor to come and discuss the issues relating to Liberia and the progress that our dynamic president is making in the Republic since 1822.
Let me welcome Mr. Momba Kesali. He is the ANC Youth Secretary and a staffer in the Cummings office. Mr. Kesali, welcome to Friday Night Debate.
Good evening to you, Mr. Jar. Good evening to all the other panelists, except Mr. Gamer. Good evening to all the listeners. It is good to be here to talk about everything happening around Liberia, particularly in politics and, the most important economic power in West Africa, Nigeria. It's always a pleasure to sit on the show.
Thank you. And we are expecting Al Hussein Fatiga. Al Hussein Fatiga is one of the newest panelists on Spoon Talk. And so we're going to be getting his perspective on the stepping down of the Spoon CEO. Anytime from now, Mr. Fatiga will be joining us. Let's start with what we saw today, Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott at the LNP headquarters. I want to play a little clip for you there when Councillor Scott was speaking at the LNP headquarters. Take a listen.
Just conduct interview with you quickly. Madam, you've been here for hours. Would you tell us what were some of those questions the police posed to you in terms of your knowledge on what happened in there?
Well, I'd just like to, before I get to that, I'd just like to speak to my interaction with the police since this situation happened.
Okay, that's good.
Many persons don't know the light of this situation. After this girl was declared dead at the Redemption Hospital, I went straight to the home of the Minister of Justice. It was at that time he assigned 2 soldiers, 2 police officers to take me home. And the next day, in the days, I can't remember the names of people who came to me. But I had encounters with the police officer. Later on, I was made to understand because right now where I am, it seems like an unending nightmare. And they came and talked to me, and they left. The following day, another group of police officers came to me and talked to me. On Friday, after the week of the incident, the Minister of Justice and some of the investigators came to me and interacted with me. The following week, they wanted to at that time, nobody had told me that they wanted to interview other members of my household. The following week, taking into consideration what was happening, and I informed them that at that point I needed lawyers. Because I had been in a state of dazed, I was dazed about what had happened, and I'm still in. And when I started listening to what was out there in the media, clearly I said, this is time now. I'm beginning to simmer down to have other professionals around me. Because we learn in law school, it's only a fool who takes himself out, his counsel. So that's what I asked for. That's what I asked for. So all that has been in the media, both print, electronic, local and international, that I refused to cooperate with the police. This is why I'm speaking to you. From my experience and my training as a lawyer, when investigating.
All right, that was the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott at the LNP headquarters answering questions after questioning. You may recall there was a reported armed robbery at her house that left her daughter dead in a needle at the hospital, and also she said there was an assassination attempt on her life. Since then, the people have been talking. The city mayor, Valley Teller, the police inspector general, and everybody else. In fact, the CDC chair has given 2 press conferences on the matter. We heard Madame Scott disputing that at no time that she refused to cooperate with the police. Let me hear from Glendy. Glendy, what's your take on this? Everything that has happened, and there is a suspicion out there that she's not cooperating, and people are suspecting that does she know who did this, and she's not coming forth. There was another allegations from Councillor Jerome Verdia, and all these things are coming together. When she was asked on that during that interview what she thought about that, she said Councillor Verdia will be the right person to provide clarity. What's your take?
So I was it's a sad situation all over, and I was very happy that she was able to talk today and that people could hear from her. What is disheartening for me is for us to continue to see how our intelligent people, as it relates to our security people, how they are so dishonest. They lie. The lies. It's unfortunate that you have a police director that will lie not on one occasion, but several different occasions. The statement that even Mr. Gaiman was trying to propagate on the last time, that was, we have subsequently found out that statement was a lie. And to even say to the people out there that this lady, that Justice Scott, was not cooperating. The woman has stated here that she didn't talk to the police once, 4 times. And on neither of those occasions did they ever request for her to come down to the station for questioning. And then when you listen to her story and compare it to what the police director said, it's sad. What even hurts me the most is that the police director, in the midst of our lawmakers, that he lied and they didn't even hold him in contempt. It's sad. Unfortunately for me, I believe what she has said, and I believe that her saying that she was able to speak with the police on several occasions, I believe that is true. I also believe that what she said was right. People should go and talk to Councillor Verdia. He made the allegations. He said what he said. He knows what evidence he has that you speak. But there was one interesting thing I understood from her conversation. And for me today, how I look at it is that to an extent, she corroborated some of the things that Verdia said when she mentioned about the pepper spray. We heard about the pepper spray from Verdia. So many people can deduce a conclusion from there. The fact that he alluded to the pepper spray, and she has now come out today and said, yes, I used a pepper spray on the assailant. Now, you can think further. If somebody described her today as a scholar, she's not a small lawyer. Even after she was Chief Justice, she went to Harvard School of Law. So she knows what she's doing. So for her to even add that piece for us to now start talking about, I am pretty sure she knows who the killer is. And I'll stop here for somebody else to take it from there. But I'm sure I was happy that she came out to talk today.
Thank you. Mr. Gaiman, what do you make of the interview with Madam Scott?
Madam Scott is a suspect. Not only they shouldn't even consider her a person of interest, she's a suspect. She's a pathological liar.
Imagine.
The lady
you mean Councillor Scott?
Justice, not even Councillor, Justice.
Well, she's a lawyer. She's no longer.
She's a justice. You know better, Mr. Jerome.
She's no longer a justice. She's no longer a justice.
A former justice is
She's a former justice.
Let's give Jerome a chance to go on. Go ahead.
She's a former justice. I will call her exactly as she is. First, let's look at the first thing.
Okay.
In our jurisprudence, anywhere in the world, when the lady said it was an assassination attempt on her life, she was so afraid. Someone who is afraid of her life, you think the first thing she would do would be to call the police. She got out of the fortress, and she said she went directly, not to the police, because they have a police depot next door to her house. She didn't. She drove across the city directly, not to the police chief, not to the police officer, but to the justice minister's house.
That is not what she said. That's not what she said.
Hold on, G-Talk. Please jot down your points to come back.
G-Talk, didn't you hear what the lady was saying?
No. She said after she left the hospital, after the lady was pronounced dead, the next place she went was to the justice minister. So you need to add that in your statement and don't leave that out.
Miss Glendy,
let our government continue. Please jot down your point.
Somebody whose life is on the line, someone is chasing you, they want to kill you. You do not go across town to visit somebody. You go directly to the police. She never did. She went to the justice minister, and she said the justice minister assigned her 2 police officers. Not only that, but you think the justice minister would have said, you know what? This is a police matter. Everything begins with the police. Call the police and do this. No, she never did. She circumvented the system. She jumped over the police director, and went directly to somebody with whom she has a relationship, somebody with whom she's very confident. She went to that person's house. And to me, that is obstruction. This is somebody you call justice. Somebody that has sat at the pinnacle of our judicial system. She was a chief justice, a lawmaker, a woman that wrote the law. There's a process when a crime is committed. She circumvented every one of them. And then when you talk about the pepper spray, she said, she didn't say him or her, because if she would have said him, we would have known. Everybody said some guy named Valley Tyler was there. She would have said, I look him in the eye. She said, I look the person in the eye and I sprayed directly in his eyes or in that person's eyes. Now listen to this. Somebody who is attacking you, usually you are spraying the pepper spray all over, but for you to take a keen look in the person's eye and spray directly in the eye of that person, tells me that she know who the person is, and that person should have been identified. And if that person were valid telling, she would have said, "This is the guy." But she said she never even. Her statement was gender neutral. She didn't say he or she said the person.
Thank you.
That sounds to me like somebody who is very, very true and want to evade the situation.
Right. Mr. Kessley. It said we didn't hear Councillor Scott saying, yes, I know, or I remember the person, or describing the person, the suspect in this case, someone that she's looked in the eye. What's your take on that? Were you thinking, or is it because that maybe the lawyers are stopping her from saying it? Wouldn't it be just easier to say, describe the person that she has seen publicly? Or, I mean, we are not legal minds, but what do you make of that she was not able to describe or talk about the suspect whom she looked in the eye and pepper sprayed?
Thank you so much, Mr. Ja. In the first place, what I want to state here is that we have a very unprofessional police force in Liberia. We have a political police force in Liberia. The police is primarily working to please the CDC and the president and to present a narrative or a position that the CDC takes. That is sickening, to say the least. And that's why Liberians, or there's no public trust in the LNP. The LNP is one of the most corrupt institutions in Liberia. The LNP is noted for backing secret killings, and that's what they are demonstrating with the way they are handling the whole attack on Justice Scott. If the police force was a professional force and they had probable cause to consider Justice Scott a suspect in the attack on her, they would have handled this entire situation professionally and drawn lines without publicly trying to malign her character without any substantive evidence, to say the least. The police force should know that handling suspicions in a case where the victim is somewhat considered a suspect comes with a high degree and high level of professionalism. It is not a political situation. Now, Justice Scott has told us that she's spoken to several times. She's spoken to police officers. She met with the justice minister. Instead of trying to protect this lady and providing her psychological support, who knows what she's going through? This woman experienced trauma. What professional help has the government provided Justice Scott? What professional support has the government provided the family? You listen to the chairman of the CDC try to distinguish the fact that the girl who was unfortunately killed in the attack is not a biological daughter of Justice Scott, and that he and the CDC will go find the biological mother of the slain girl. What a sickening and diabolical show of wickedness on the part of the CDC's the CDC chairman. This child lived with Justice Scott. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from her, but you have to show respect. This was a daughter to Justice Scott. Or doesn't he know that people adopt children and keep them as their own children and treat them better? I mean, look, and you listen to Mr. Gibbon, you just have to feel sick to the stomach that people come in a sophisticated society like America, and they still have such narrow thinking about situations. How dare you call Justice Scott a suspect? You have Mr. Gibbon, who has no understanding of investigation whatsoever, no history, no professional training, sit on the platform, and we should not even give him the opportunity to keep spewing such inhumane words towards someone who has been attacked. That's unacceptable. What reasons do you have to suspect Justice Scott? What iota of truth do you have, or what merits do you have in it? And you're telling us because she has told the public she looked in the face of the assailant. If someone is attacking you, that's a situation where you are traumatized. You literally rush for something and you spread How do you even conclude that he exactly went into the eyes of the suspect? The government is the number one suspect in this case. And you see, Mr. Gaiman knows something. You can tell from his face, I mean, that the SLM may have told him that, yes, she actually sprayed him in the eye. And that's why he's trying to confess here. This is unacceptable. We cannot take our country backward like this. How can we treat our citizens simply because they are not in our political parties with such indignation, with such scorn, and with such inhumane level? This is unacceptable. Liberians deserve better than this. We should be treated as stars by our government, regardless of who we are, who we support, or where we stand. If this was Mr. Gaiman's foster daughter that had been killed, we should feel the same way. If this was Joshua's foster daughter that has been killed, we should all feel the same way. Because politics aside, we are all Liberians first. It is unacceptable for Mr. Gaiman, all professional, uncivilized people to come and try to insult people who have been attacked. I mean, I feel personally hurt.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Gaiman, with calling Justice Scott a pathological liar, I mean, she has no history of that.
It's very uncivilized.
Hold on, Mr. Kesseley. So if we'll give you time later to retract that statement, because we want you to treat her with courtesy. But whether it is not uncommon, or when a crime happens, to ask not as suspect, but to interrogate or ask questions to those that are on the scene. Like, for instance, if a husband or wife, anything happens, they question the wife. So it is not uncommon to ask Justice Scott some questions.
Not at all. Asking her question is a normal procedure, but the way those questions are being asked, the motive of those asking the questions is something that is troubling. The idea that, the police director, knowing very well that he spoke with a woman more than 3 times, to go to the internet, social media, and make a statement, publish it everywhere that the woman is refusing to talk to the police. We were all wondering, because we know the woman is very, very intelligent. She's educated. She knows her job. So why would she refuse to talk to the police? Everybody was wondering. We need to find out that it was a big lie. I watched the video with the Senate, and everybody in the hall was so disgusted that the police director would lie. He told from one lie to another. How can we treat people like that? This lady is traumatized. Her daughter died. Right now, she's not to herself. And to get up and want to smell her character. And Mr. Gitman, first of all, she's a lady. She does not have any history of being taken to court for lying. She served the country. She deserves respect. And you calling her a pathological liar, all because she respected the police and opened up to talk to them? This is something disheartening. Put all political stuff aside and deal with the issue. This is human being that was killed. Somebody's life is lost. A girl that lived with her. She doesn't have to be the biological mother. We don't know how that lady would have been a little kid that she raised to a woman. The first that her family was depending on to graduate college. And her life was cut short by somebody who went to her house out of mere enviousness. This is why we're discussing. So if the woman had not gone to the police to make a statement, nobody would have known that all these things they were saying about her were lies. Why if they had killed her, God forbid? So they would have made all these stories that she could not come to defend herself. This is what happened in the country, unfortunately. People just lie and they think it's fun. It's like a sport. A lot of people just, take on a profession of just lying on simple things. But this is somebody's lie we're talking about. We need to be honest and put things in your own shoes. What if it were me? If you can answer that question, no, don't do it to somebody else's. So I like the way she responded to all the questions. All right. She said that it was a fight or flight situation. So once she couldn't run, she had to fight. And the fight was to put pepper spray because she knew with the eyes that man could not come or woman could not come at her. And that is exactly what she did. So I think we should be thanking her for saving her own life, but unfortunately the little girl was killed. But today she's able to explain. Even if she knows the person, she's not going to tell people out there that she knows the person.
Exactly.
And if she doesn't know the person, I'm not going to blame her because she was trying to save her own life. She don't have to look at the person and see whether they were black or white or blue or yellow. She want to save her own life. And if Councillor Verdier explain step by step what he thinks happened, I ask him. He knows exactly why he's talking. He's going to defend himself. But what Councillor Gloria Scott saw is what she's going to address. So, Dennis, to be very honest, this situation is very pathetic, and it made the whole country to look so ridiculous. And the police lying on top of it is the worst thing ever. Very worst. Thank you.
Mrs. Mumba, have you been able to follow the sequence of activities in the house that night? What really do you know happened? Is it that stabbed one person to death, stabbed another person, and then went to Councillor Scott, and then she pepper sprayed? Or was this guy pepper sprayed before he even killed the first victim? What do you know?
So this is what I'm imagining. So this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining
not to imagine, but have you heard how this sequence of events occur in the house?
Okay. What I've heard or what I understand is that this person went to the house, and the first two people that he met were the girls. So the girls were trying to protect their mother. And apparently he was trying to go to the mother and try to stop him in that way. He tried to eliminate them to have the time to go and kill the mother. So by then, I know the counselor felt like she was already in danger. And this guy was coming at her after he stabbed the girls. So the next thing she did was to fight, put on a fight by spraying that pepper spray, because with a pepper spray, she didn't have to reach to him, touch him before spraying him. So she stood, I don't know what this thing could be, but I know, she just sprayed him in the eyes to stop the whole situation right there. But by then, the other girl was wounded, and the other person was also wounded badly. And that's what happened. So the assailant met the girls first, and then, try to eliminate them before getting to her. And by then, when he wounded them, then of course she was prepared at that particular moment to defend herself.
And this guy probably ran out already pepper sprayed.
So this guy, after she pepper sprayed the guy, or I'm not gonna say guy, the person, after she pepper sprayed the person decided to run. So by then, the girls were already wounded. So when the person ran, because with the pepper spray, they were staying around, they could have been caught. So they decided to run away to hide their identity.
Thank you. Mr. Gamer, let me come to you, and I hope you retract that pathological liar story. But here is the thing.
It is important.
The difference.
Hold on. No. I will not give you chance, Dennis, because Mr. Gilman, let me tell you, I really want to leave the show now, because I am not going to sit here knowing Justice Scott and knowing her character and not hear Mr. Gilman retract that. If he's not going to, I am not going to remain on the show. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm coming to, right?
Okay.
So Mr. Gilman, my question to you is, with the press conference of first starting with Major Koji, then Valley Teller and the MCC, then the 2 press conferences from Momba Molu, the CDC chair, the IG was called in, and that makes sense. I mean, don't these press conferences and statement from these people, because if Valley Teller is accused, it's not MCC. So all these press conferences have they not convoluted the whole thing here, the whole discussion, that people are jittery and then coming out with these press conferences, even though nobody called their names? But first, let's go to that statement you made against Justice Scott.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I cannot retract what I say because that's what I mean. That's what I know. That's my belief. Just like they have their own thoughts and they want a divine thoughts, I can't do that. That's what I said, and I stand with it. It may be true, it may not be true, but that's what I said, and that's what I mean.
All right. Now, my question to you is about the press conferences. Why everybody's talking? Why are they all talking about this?
Well,
because they are jittering. Something they know something that we don't know.
No, not really, because it so happened that this week I did jury duty, and one of the state prosecutors said, "We don't speak on any issue unless the opposing party, the opposing lawyer, opens the door. Once the door is open, we are going to walk right through it." If you have someone like Jerome Verdier, a failed lawyer or attempted lawyer in these United States, who failed the bar exam over 3 times, is not qualified to be a lawyer in this country. He cannot get legal advice. To call Liberia and
Mr. Gilman, let's leave the personal attached, because
it's not personal, because
we don't know that about Councilor Verdier.
It has to do with the character of the human being.
But you don't know about
fulfilling a professional.
I know he admitted that he failed the bar exam.
But it means nothing. It doesn't measure.
It does.
Some people are protesting.
Man.
It doesn't measure. It does not. It does not.
We are talking about the character.
Hold on, Tebina, but Mr. Gilman, let's stick to the issues.
Stick to the
issue. The issue here is the character of the person that's making the claim. Okay? If someone came to you and made a statement, you want to look at the character of the person.
No, you question his credibility.
Excuse me, man.
Question his credibility.
Excuse me.
Hold on, Tebina. Let it end. You have time to talk.
I don't want this to become something of sentimental.
It's not sentimental. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Because you have been very sentimental here.
Okay,
let's stick with it. Thank you. So here we are. If this man is going to make a claim and he's talking, he's not putting forth a theory. He's not saying allegedly. This man is saying as though he was in the building when these things happened. In fact, he said the intent of the invader, Mr. Talley, was not to kill this woman, but to sodomize her. Those were his statements. This is a man who is deranged. He's off.
Mr. Gilman, please watch your language. No. Councilor Verdier is not deranged. Please watch your language, how you describe these people.
For someone to sit
you can disagree with what he said. Mr. Gilman,
yes.
You can disagree with what he said, but you can't be calling these people names.
But listen to this.
Let us not do that.
Mr. Jar. Anyone who behaves in that way, sitting 5,000 miles away from the site, and putting himself in the middle of a stage and actually commentating as though he was there. The person has a delusional mind to see things that are not there. It's a mirage. So what I'm saying here is, let's go back to Justice Scott here. Okay?
No, the question I asked you was these press conferences.
Yeah, but okay, this is what I'm saying.
Who were never, MCC was never accused. It's Valley Teller.
Of course.
Why should the MCC or hierarchy come up with a press conference and, in fact, hold down Valley Teller from talking?
How could you say the MCC was not accused when the boss, the administrator of MCC, was accused for orchestrating the employees of the MCC to go and commit murder.
The boss, not the
So the MCC boss is MCC now.
The boss, not the entity. We're talking two
I said
things.
the MCC.
He's not the entity. He is not the entity.
Okay.
Hold on, Tavina.
No, he's not going to be spilling water.
Isn't he the?
He is not the entity. He is the boss. He's not the entity.
He's not the entity.
He is not the entity.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Hold on, Tavina.
Listen to this. I'm a CEO and executive director of an agency. If you accuse me on the job of using my employee to commit crime, you are including my entity. You are saying
Mr. Gamer, no.
No, that's the individual.
I gotta move on to the next question, please.
You cannot separate the mayor. If you say your employee,
Tavina, you can't keep interrupting. Let Mr. Gamer finish.
I think, ma'am, if your sentiment is getting the best of you, I think you should maybe take a
I think the sentiment is getting the best of you too.
No, listen, I'm calm. Very calm.
And you will not throw words at me, because if you give me words, I got a lot for you.
That's fine.
Mr. Gamer,
step back and stick to the issue.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Mr. Gamer, let's stick to the issue. Mr. Gamer, you are still calling names. Let's stick to the issue and complete in 30 seconds. Let me give another person a chance to talk.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Ja.
Yeah.
If I accuse Dennis Ja of a crime and I say he sent one of his employees or staff from his agency, I am actually accusing your entire agency, because you are using not only your power but your administrative power to send your employee to commit a crime. So anybody who doesn't understand that, I don't know how. Well,
thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you. All right. Let me go to Tavina, and
I want
to welcome Tavina. You've just joined, but Tavina, go ahead. What's your take on the Justice Card appearing before answering those questions? What do you make of the brief interview?
I think the interview, first, let me just empathize with the family. No mother or no parent should have to bury their daughter. I can't even or their daughter or the child. I can't even think about it that, God forbid, I will have to bury my children. In our culture or most settings, our children, culturally, they buried us. So to even deal with that trauma, let alone to even think about the attempts on her home, and then finally they enter the home and what happened. So I can really imagine, and the trauma that she's going through and the whole family just living with that. I had an accident a couple of years ago. Until this day, I still live with that accident. Even when I'm driving with car coming so close to me, I panic. So just having for her to take the courage to just speak to the press about less than a week after the incident, I must applaud her. But she needed to come out because there's just so much misinformation out there, including what Mr. Gaiman had been spilling on Focus on Liberia on Sunday and in the past and even today. So she had to just, in her pain, come out to just say something. And I'm glad she said something. People wanted her to say more. She's a seasoned lawyer. She knows when to speak. She's not going to go speak and put all the evidence in the public. That would be tomfoolery of her to do that. She will speak and give the information to the people that she need to get the information to. She's not going to say everything. So if she didn't open the whole box, she's dealing with trauma. The public was not a place to kind of say everything, but I think she gave enough information given the circumstances, and I must applaud her for that.
Thank you. And a follow-up to that is there's a lot out there. Up to now, we've really not gotten the full story. Councillor Verdia's allegations, which many people or some people did not believe until we saw the series of press conferences, and people say, wait a minute, maybe Councillor Verdia will be talking the truth. So let's speak to Councillor Verdia's allegations and the responses from the city mayor, the MCC, and from Momba Molu.
Okay, so when it comes to Mr. Verrier, what his whatever his utterances were on Spoon TV, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched just that segment. I don't know whether it's true or false. I'm not going to say, he's a professional person. Quite honestly, the problem that I had with that was the timing and the place of where the information was given. That's my problem with it. Now it's left for the investigators to go into it. When things happen, information comes from all over. So you get all these tips and whatever it is, and you take all of that and you dig deeper to find out whether this is, this can lead to the unsolved mystery. But I don't know whether he's saying the truth. The way I heard the story, quite honestly, the three things I took away from that: either the woman has cameras all around her house, so he had the recording of the camera, camera recording, because if anybody enter my facility, I have cameras all around my house. So maybe he have access to that. That's one way. Two, the way he narrated the story, it made it to appear that the person that told him must be in the house or part of the crime, because the story was just like a play-by-play, like somebody who was there. So I don't know. Another part of it was maybe one of the people that I fled, they witnessed the whole thing, so they told him. So I don't know, it'll be a good thing. I heard the police chief say, they're not going to talk to Verdier and Cllr Verdier, because, he's this, he's that. You calling for information from any source. So if he's giving you a lead, follow the lead. And if you feel it's not, after you've done all your investigations and everything you need to do, and if you feel it didn't lead to anywhere, then you scratch it out. But you can't just say because it's coming from him, you're just gonna, rule it out because he didn't contact you directly. What I would have hoped that Mr. Verdier would have done, and he has his own justification. I know Mr. Verdier, the both of them. But what I hope he would have done, given the circumstances, he would have contacted the police, whether by email or phone call, and the justice. And then even if he got to record it, because we know the government is a liar and a criminal government. But at least give them the information first, and then come on Spoon and put them on blast and say, I got evidence about this case. I have given the information to the police and whatever it is, I've given it, who committed the crime, when and how, and all of that. And all of that. Now, that's my recommendation. He knows better than me. I was a little girl in school when Mr. Verdier, they were already way up there. So he knows better. But the reason behind what he did, one of the things he said, that he doesn't trust the government. We all can say should have, could have, whatever it is, but that's just my recommendation. I would have hoped that he would have. I have done it that way. Given to the kids was fresh, the family was still grieving. I don't know, to just say it that way. For me, that was only the concern, but I don't know what is true or not. I'm not going to speak to that because I don't know the facts of the case. Now, you asked about the Koji, right?
Yeah, those different press conferences.
Okay, so the Koji conference, it was kind of, it was just unsettling with me. And we do a lot of interviewing, for whether fraud investigation or even for other things. The one thing that stood out to me with Koji when they're asking about the gentleman in question, Telly, and said, do you know this man? Does he work for you? He said, he ducked his head or his countenance, and he said, I'll leave that to the investigator. So that was a simple question. Without going to the facts of the case, I know this gentleman, he worked for my office. He's been working here since 2010 or whatever the date. His position is this. Now, if there's a follow-up question to that to say, do you know blah, 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 you say, I don't know. That's not my role. That's not my role. That's the role of the investigator to deep into this case. But this is what I know. He is my employee. But to shy away from the question and say, leave that with the investigator and all of that, then it raises more eyebrow, raises more concern. That like, okay, are you trying to hide something? Are you shielding something here? That's a simple question. He works for me, So that's my only concern with that one.
Thank you. Let's wrap this up on this and move to our next. So let me hear from Mrs. Moba on where do we go from here, and then we'll go to Moba. What do we? I mean, within the coming days and weeks, we may expect new things to come up, evidence or whatever the facts lead. Things will come up as we go towards next week. What are you looking to see so as to bring the facts out? Mrs.
Well, I
Mother.
think the police, should, you know, investigate with an open mind. They should not pick and choose who to interview or who, to leave out. If I were them, um, I would have made, possible strive to get to Councillor Verdier no matter what. I don't know the relationship between the police and Councillor Verdier, but the information that he put out there was very significant. So whether you believe it or not, I think they should reach out to him and get detailed information that will help them to carry out the investigation. One thing from the various videos that I look at, especially uh, Tale, uh, um, what is his name?
Ali. Ali.
Valley. Okay. So Valley was asked a question why he did not attend his daughter's naming ceremony. That is a big occasion for some cultures. And I think it's very significant for his culture. And he said that, his eyes were hurting. He had eyes problem. That's why he didn't go there. So the journalist asked him when the eyes started. And he said, oh, what caused the problem on the eyes? And he said that he had an accident in 1994. 29 years, for God's sake. The accident he had made him not to attend his daughter naming ceremony. So now when you look at a correlation, somebody used pepper spray on the person that unauthorizedly entered the premises. We are still looking for the perpetrator. And there's another person who has eyes problem at a particular time. So that's why I think the police should have an open mind and investigate every single evidence that they can lay their hands on, and don't brush things aside, because maybe you don't want to dive into them. I think they should have an open mind because there are a lot of information out there, too many information that are very hard to process. And if they have an open mind, keep an open mind and investigate every single one of them, I think they will make a stride in the case. But if they decide to leave out other sources, it will be very difficult because the sources that they might be brushing aside could be the main sources that could close the case. So my advice would be keep an open mind and go through the whole case.
Right. And that open mind should lead also that keep an open mind, ask all the questions. For instance, if someone is pepper spray and that pepper spray are causing the problem for it to be red even after some time, it means it will probably severe for that person to really get away. So after someone is pepper spray, and is feeling it, wouldn't it be easier for him to be caught? I don't know how many people were in the house. Do you think there should be questions on that end too?
Well, of course.
I'm coming. Please, I'd like to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, so this is my point. Okay, somebody went to do harm to another person. So with even a pepper spray, it's a fight or flight situation. They had to run away because they tried to protect a bigger problem by running away than to stay. So it is possible that it got away. It could have been severe, but we don't know whether they had a ride or they had somebody standing somewhere to help them out. So we don't know.
Mr. Jai.
Thank you. Tavina wanted to come in before you.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Gamer? I mean, Mr. Jai.
Am I in the
Mr.
street?
Jai, I'm here.
Cassidy, I'll come after you.
Mr. Jai, I'm here.
Please go. I will come in. Cassidy, if you want to go, please go. I can wait.
All right. Okay. Cassidy, your turn.
All right. Again, I'm going to start by repeating what I said earlier. The police is very unprofessional the police is a partisan police, and the government is wicked, and the government is careless about the security and the feelings of its citizens. We have very serious allegations against Mr. Teller. By now, he should have been relieved or suspended from the MCC. Jawazin Koji should have been suspended from the MCC. That's what you do.
No, but what's the allegation now? You mean the one from Councillor Verdia?
Yes, absolutely, Councillor Verdia.
How do you act on that? Without any probable cause.
Okay, now that's where professionalism comes into play. Has the police reached out to Mr. Verdia, get information from him? The reason you suspend Jawazin Koji and Teller from the MCC is that you don't want them to be in their positions and use state fundings as they are doing to defend themselves. These are allegations against their person and not against the MCC as an entity. That's what happens everywhere. That's best practice. You have them suspended. They go through investigation. Dismissing them. If you go through investigation and you do not have,
with all due respect, you suspend people because someone on social media say this person did this.
Someone credible. Do you know who Mr. Verdia is?
Oh Lord.
With no evidence?
No, do you know who Mr. Verdia is? Mr. Verdia is incredible. That he has very strong reasons to believe that these two individuals masterminded, or one of them physically, in fact, led the attack against Justice Scott. You have to have him suspended. Now, you see that the two individuals are using state resources to defend themselves. Are you seeing the logic behind this? I mean, this is unacceptable. They should not be using the MCC resources to defend themselves for allegations, involving something that is totally separate from the entity. That is what you have to do. Now, let's even go back to the police. If the police have a forensic department, what has the forensic department done so far? What have they done to investigate the claims that were made by Mr. Teller that in fact he was attacked in 1994 and his eye hurting? I mean, have they conducted any form of forensics on his eye? Have they taken him to the hospital to make sure that it was not something that happened recently? Look, the police is very unprofessional. They are not doing anything to allay the fears first of the society and to give the Liberian people justice. You need to be beyond suspicion. The police needs to be independent of the government.
I agree. Had the police moved in on the day of the crime, seal that whole area, and probably isolate the occupants and start talking to them, we wouldn't even be here.
And the police should have immediately called in Mr. Teller and Jawazin Koji for questioning. I mean, there is allegation, and that is what professional police force do. That is why professional police force do. You do not say, excuse me, Mr. Gamer, you cannot say,
Mr. Gamer, you will come in. Mr. Kessler,
the police force cannot be the jurors and the judges at the same time. Now, the police force should be independent. The police force should not be expressing opinions. The police force already has an opinion of Mr. Verdia. That's why they believe they cannot invest. Look, are you telling us if this was allegations coming from Mr. Verdia against him, Moba Keseli, would the government have given me a day to rest? They were going to move here and have me arrested. I would have slept at the police force. That's what the police do. The police is a partisan and political force. I mean, they are not professional. That's not.
Thank you, Mr. Kessler. We got to move on. We got to move on. So, Tavina, you have 1 minute, and Gamer 1 minute. Then we move to our next topic.
Mr. Gamer, go first.
Oh no, we're scared of giving here. No, I've heard this so many times about whatever is the Teller and his eye situation, and somebody they asked him about his eye, and he said it was for many years. The journalist asked him, what's wrong with his eye, and asked him about the scar that was on his eye. So he has a scar there. The pepper spray, I'll be very honest, why we want to, it is not our place to, because we don't have evidence. But the scar, unless they spray his face and he bump his head, pepper spray will not put a scar on his eye. I carry a pepper spray here, right here. I'll be carrying it as long as I be in America. If I do this and dispense it, unless that person was running and they bumped their head to something, pepper spray will not put a scar on his eye. I'm not saying he did or he did not commit the crime. That's not the point. But we cannot look at a scar on somebody's face and say, oh, that a pepper spray mark. So now we can just overdo things. The police need to investigate further. And there is, and I know Maraska is not in the best state of mind. I will be the last to judge her or anything, but I think little by little, the police just need to take their time and talk to her because she's not in the rest of the mind. She grieved her daughter. That girl could have been a lawyer tomorrow. But one thing she said today was she recognized the person. And she aimed for the eyes, which they teach you about when you delete pepper spray. Aim for the eye, because when you get the eyes, they're not going to run. They're finished. They can harm you. So she aimed for the eyes. If she aimed for her 2 eyes, then unless he bumped her head when he was running, then the scar will be there. But they need to just talk to her, not in the same setting, but little by little, let her just explain to her. Here the people will do a picture of the person, ask her to draw the picture of the person, and things like that. But piece it all together. Again, the Papa said.
Hold on. We want to leave this subject now. We're taking almost an hour. So
I want to inject little things.
The heart of the show and the hottest topic,
Right.
By the way, I don't want to take on your show, but I think what's important to stress
but
that.
with your experience with pepper spray, if the 2 eyes of the assailant were aimed and pepper sprayed, do you think they'll be able to run out in their house that they don't really know?
They don't know the environment. When they will stay run, unless they'll be bumping into things and run.
Right. And they wouldn't be caught, especially if we have security people outside the fence.
Well, again, it calls for more questions because when you aim, like she said, again, she's not in the rest of the mind, Dennis. She might have. Her goal was to aim for the both eyes. Maybe she eventually she just sprayed one eye. That's what she can recall. She went to trauma now. So little by little, you gotta keep talking to her and piecing things together. But she is not a suspect. Let me be very clear, because Mr. Gabriel said she's a suspect of pathological value. She is not. And she is not a suspect. She's going through a lot of trauma. So her stories may be off balance a little bit, but that's what trained investigators come into play and take the time to talk to her, having social workers or counselors around to support her through this process as they're asking her questions so they can get to the bottom of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gilman, you're 1 minute.
First of all, let me tell you this. I just got this from the FBI website. If somebody is pepper sprayed, that person is immediately incapacitated, period.
Okay.
That's a blatant lie.
That's not true.
Excuse me. The lady said she looked at the person and looked them in the eye and pepper sprayed them in the eye, or pepper spray the person in the eye. If you hit directly the eye, 2 eyes, and there is no way you are going to have.
So it's possibly maybe she didn't get the 2 eyes. So let's
we don't know whether they were the 2 eyes.
Mr. Ja, we cannot divine thought. I'm going by what she said.
No, it's a possibility.
Let's stick to the facts. She said she sprayed the person in the eyes.
Right.
And I'm going by what she said. Nothing else should be added or subtracted. And it is a proven fact that if you are pepper spray, you are incapacitated. Right. Especially when she says she looked the person in the eye.
Incapacitated is a broad word. It's a broad word. It doesn't mean I can still run.
No, you are divining. You are divining thoughts.
Let's complete 1 minute.
No, you are divine.
Gilman, go ahead, complete your 1 minute. We gotta give you a chance.
This is what we are saying. Anybody who says I look him in the eye and I spray the pepper, that's why she said she used it. She went like this. She said, and I pepper spray him in the eye, or pepper spray the person in the eye. She said, one thing I know though, that person should not have been in the house where the person was. Okay, so here we are. If you pepper spray somebody, my friend, that person will be incapable. I don't think the person will run from. We got security outside, doors locked. You got an 8-foot fence, it's locked, and that person got out with nobody. See, it's impossible to believe.
Thank you. Let me welcome Al Hussein UJ Fadiga, who is joining us. Mr. Fadiga, we are on the last leg of this topic. So let me get
I already found someone to disagree with already. So So thank you for let me just chime in on this, and then we can get to the other one. The thing is, Mr. Gilman is using semantics. He's playing words games, and it's just been a little bit deceptive. Pepper spray is a unique thing. We are seeing even police, the best trained police, aiming and missing people, and people getting away with pepper spray. It's not he making it to seem like it's a slam dunk thing that if the like a gun, if even bullets, if people get shot in the head and still survive. And someone will say if you put gun to your head and shoot it, like saying if you put gun to your head and shoot it, that means the person should automatically die. Is that why it's the same thing you're saying? If pepper spray doesn't have 100% accuracy, if you hit it to the right place, yes, it does incapacitate you. But there are people that can escape if you're strong. Even with taser, I've seen people put 50,000 pound of vote in you and skinny people run away.
False comparison, Mr. Fadiga.
No, it's not false comparison. The thing here is, it's not 100% accurate for a lady like a Gloria Scott that is not combative. She's not someone that physically. So this is a lady that been Chief Justice. She's not the physical kind of type. If something comes to your lady, Fifi, that's how she would do it. A professional. We have seen professional police missing. So she's panicking. She grabbed pepper spray. The first thing here is, if it did not incapacitate the person, she missed. Most likely, women miss. We've seen people in women. This is a lady that telling you that
you are defining thought. They never see the.
I'm not. You are defining it too. The lady said she sprayed in his eye. Her eye. So it could be she missed. If the person that doesn't mean that if she spray in the eye automatically, this should happen. That's why I brought the comparison with gun. People get shot in the head and still survive.
Thank you. Alice, 30 seconds. You wanted to say something, Mrs. Mamba?
Well, yeah, so basically, like I was saying on the pepper spray, you can pepper spray somebody, and they still get away. It depends on the amount of pepper that goes in the eyes. It could have cut one eye and maybe the other one was not too, severe. So the person got away. And on the Cllr issue, well, a scar, I don't know if a scar will make somebody to miss their child naming ceremony, something that happened in 1994. My understanding, according to the question that was being posed to him, was that his eyes were problematic. And he said that he had a problem in 1994. So if it is 1994 and it's just a scar, why couldn't he attend the baby naming ceremony? So that's a question, I don't know how possible it is. But we are just, we are just talking. We don't know until the police come up with the facts. After investigation, then we know exactly what happened.
Thank you. If the police come up with something, will we believe it? Will we trust? Do we trust the police, or do we?
But the thing is, they kind of falsity that started from place to place, from the legislatures to the documents that were written. Whole lot of fallacies. So how will we even believe? If the story. You have to be honest. Whatever you do, be honest, so that when the results come, people will believe you. But they started contaminating their own investigation. So I don't know, how many people would believe that.
Can I say something to that?
We want to move on, but you are not Hassan. Then we're going to ask you the security question. You are Hussein.
No, but I want to chime in on that police thing. Like Sister Moba said, look, if I had doubt about what allegation that levied by how do you call it, the lawyer Council of Vodia. I mean, everything the government did, everything the police did in after that just show guilt. Even if it shows a lot. Sometimes I don't know where to fault them, whether it's incompetence or they actually did a thing or both. Because Here's a man that was accused of something. If you, Dennis, if you didn't do something, how difficult it is to say I didn't do it. Why go through lawyering up or flanking this guy two sides, trying not to for him not to talk, shielding him? All those things just make even seditions, even people on their own care. It just create that air of stuff.
Mr. Given, give a gentleman chance, please.
The thing here is, it's just
Tell
so
the most
guilt. Even
Fariga.
I spoke to some seditions, people that
we want our
actually,
viewers to also chime in. So please conclude your thought.
Yeah. So I have people that was even on the fence, but the moment they saw that video, they just like, you know what, they're guilty because the way they behave, the amateur way they try to do the thing. I think it would have been better to just close their mouth and just say that.
Guilt is a process. You don't just find people guilty because the way they look.
Well, body language.
No, thank you. But the fact is,
what happened?
Even when Councillor Vodia made a statement, there were some people who were scratching their heads. But after those two press conferences, people started to look at Vodia a little more and say, well, let's listen to this guy.
Right.
Really, and
it was bad.
Yeah, and the thing about it, whether they come up with a report or not, the government doesn't even have a bandwidth. They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the resources. They just don't have it. The tools to even come up with a credible report. So we're not even going to buy it.
Thank you. Let us.
It's not, just a fact.
You're faulting the report before it even comes out.
It's just a fact. You don't have to tools.
That's not a fact. That's not a fact.
It is a fact.
Let's trust them.
Group will solve this problem.
Let's trust them that they're going to come up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We'll go to our next issue. If you are just joining us, this is Friday Night Debate, and we are debating the issues. It's unfortunate that one of our panelists left because Mr. Gaiman couldn't retract. I wish you would have stayed, because here we're going to have differences of opinions. And as moderator, I have no power to stop people from saying, I can call it out, but I have no power to stop you, Mr. Gaiman. If he stands by a word, I cannot take him out of the platform because he stands by what he believes. This is what we are. That's why we created a platform, to have these fair exchanges of views. Well, during this week, something happened. The CEO of Spoon Network stepped down. I want to play the clip for you, and then we can talk about it. Take a listen.
And every other thing that make up the Spoon Network, have decided through the consultation of my wife that as a CEO, I would step back. I would step away from the network. I'm going to step away from the network to show its balance and credibility. It's the best thing to do. I love the program. I love to be on Spoon Talk. I love to be part of the work we all have created. But it will only be fair if I can step away while I go through the procedure, the legal proceeding. When it is all said and done, God's willing, we will be back to continue.
God's willing, we will be back. Mr. Hassan Hussein UJ Fariga was on that platform as well. Congratulations, new panelists. Step back, step away. What was the CEO choosing his role very carefully?
I think he was calibrating his words, and he chose the best words.
Look for your face, oh.
No, you want to see my face?
Look for your mouth.
The CEO didn't want to say
I'm asking the question because the ex-Spoon panelists asked him to step aside or step away. So people were expecting, I was expecting to hear step down, but instead the CEO said step back, step away. It was being very careful here.
Yeah. Are you asking me or are you telling me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
So which one is it? Did he step away? Did he step down?
Is he being just careful not to use the word step down here?
Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter here is he turned the company over to another competent lady, and I think that lady going to carry on his dream. I think that's what it is. So step away, step down, step up. It boils down to one thing. he left. I think he felt that he was being a distraction, and he didn't want his baby to die. So he like, I'm gonna let this ship sink, alone, let it Titanic. He saw Jack from a little platform, put his little rose on, and she lived to tell the story, and he died. So it's like the same thing. He had this dream, and he doesn't want it to die.
Right. And his colleagues that left, that's what they were asking for.
Well,
was it timely now, or was he doing? I mean, why he didn't do it then and now? I mean,
the thing is, right? Let me say this. I don't know. The thing is, most of his colleagues happen to be some of my good friends too. I think they were disingenuous. Dennis, we started radio a long time. We've been in this thing. We're probably pioneers of this whole online thing. And I know when you used to call me, Fadiga, my man, you need to come, or even bring you to Atlanta. I know the passion. I know where we came from. But then Facebook never had Facebook Live. And we started this thing, and we know. So this is where I actually have some real empathy for Stanton. I don't know Stanton. I probably haven't really spoken to Stanton like on a one-on-one like you and myself. But we share one thing in common: the passion of disseminating information to our people. That's what drew me, and I'm sure that's what drew you. And whatever he has down there, I believe in the American justice system. That one, it would take a course. But it is not an easy thing to build a platform. I built it once. It was very big. We have people from all over. And I know how difficult it is that when you start something, you put your resources, you put your time. Other people just come on, they don't even know. One other thing, you go to a guitar center at $30. I remember spending over $10,000 just to build our studio in that place. So I know if we're paying rent, we're doing all the things, bringing people. Other people will just come, they don't know. But we had to do this thing because of the passion. So this man built this thing, and he achieved some things that we that even started it did not achieve. And one of his competitive advantage was to tie in bunch of media institutions in Liberia. You know what that is? That is a very powerful platform. So despite everything that he did or he allegedly did, he did something positive for his country. And in that line, I respected him. And for somebody that he just gave the opportunity, who knew? I mean, Tamil George would know, but Tamil George was not as popular or something. Ski Vassett, who was Ski Vassett? A lot of those people he brought on a national scene. So imagine you got focused on Africa right now. Something happened and someone said, Dennis, you know what? Step aside, step down. It's not like how they call the thing here? A corporation, how they call the thing? Where people kind of get out. I lost the word. It's not like a company that other
partnership.
A partnership. It's not like a partnership. This was a sole proprietorship. This man put his resources, his time, and he had his own idea. You cannot just come in and say, "Oh, step aside." What would it do with it? And honestly, before this thing happened, I got some really credible information that people within the hierarchy of the government was giving money to infuse it. This is an election season. A platform that is now managed. If you have a dream, it's like you stepping aside from this street right now. Who know who the next person will turn it to? They must sell it to CDC, they must sell it to RFDP. Who know? He has his own objective. He wanted to maintain it. It was just disingenuous. It was just unfair the way they treated him. I think they could have done it in the background. And the media tool was the worst. It did not solve the problem. It only just made it worse. And I think he did it at the best time.
Thank you. Mr. Gaiman, you are talk show host as well. What do you make of this, the resignation? They're stepping back and stepping away.
Well, it's just semantics. It's the same thing. I'm looking at, I went to some base. It's so happy that I'm in South Florida. Weatherspoon had 22 spoon corporations in different names. Out of the 22, 5 is now active. 17 is inactive. I'm looking at the the indictment from the federal government and all of that, the FBI, the infiltration, all of that. So this is very, very serious. I own several businesses myself. My board of directors will have told me if I did something that wrong, running a nonprofit organization, their fiduciary responsibility to make sure that this entity and the funders and the government, that their name are attached to this organization, they make sure that the right things are done. They will have told me, listen, you have to go. Not only that you have to go, even though you build this from scratch, but the legal power on this, the legality is so, the burden is so heavy that because of you, everybody else on here will go down with you, and we don't want to do that. So they will ask you to leave. You can lawyer up and either sell your interests, but at this point it cannot happen because the federal government have put a cap on basically everything you have. You can't sell, you can't transact business, you can't do anything else. So he can use stand back, stand down, and all of that stuff. It's the same thing. At this point, when he's convicted, if he's convicted, whether he step back or step down, it means nothing. If they say you're doing 10 years, whether you step back or step, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just semantics.
Mr. Gilman, before I go to Mr. Kessley, the ex-Spoon panelists were calling, they were not asking him to step down from Spoon Network. It was only from Spoon Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in that case, according to Hussein, this is his baby, so you cannot separate him from it. It was like premature or disingenuous to do so. What's your take on that?
Well, we had a board of directors that are actually active board that tell you what to do. In something like this, if it's something minor.
And before you end, I even asked them whether there was any structure. They said no. I mean, there was no structure. We're just there. We come, we do our thing, and leave.
And to be very frank with you, this is what we are talking about: the basic Liberian way of running business. They do not put structure in place legally to say, because the reason we have board of directors, the board of directors are your bosses. And the reason people loan their names to your organization is exactly to give you that gravitas. If you have a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer who are successful and they sit on your board, they are actually vouching for you that you say you will do what you will do. If people give you money, you will spend it in the way you say you will spend it. So their name and their reputation are all on this. So when they find something of this magnitude, they will tell you to either step down or the board will just remove you, period, whether is your baby or not. Legally, you cannot function. So I think the guys were right by telling him, let's rebrand. The first thing is to take your photo down. You can call it Spoon, but get in the background, take down your photo. Let rebrand and go from there. All of those things they suggested, he knocked down, and then they came back and did it. Now his photo is no longer there. It is just Spoon. They told him to stay and bring somebody or somebody new. And everything they suggested to him, even though it might have been difficult at the time, but it was the right thing for them to do. I've been CEO of the United Way, the Chamber of Commerce. I've been all over the place. This is how it works. Your board of directors are supposed to tell you, listen, Tavina, it is rough. We are lawyer on this. There is no way out of this. I would think they think either go down or you leave it, let somebody else take and rebrand. So I think they did the right thing, but he decided to knock it down, and then he came right back to it. So now they are vindicated.
Thank you. They are vindicated. I don't know if Mobile Kessley believes that. Mr. Kessley, now this is an opportunity for, there's always been that, right? Or for Spoon Talk to have that balance. We have somebody from CDC, from ANC, from UP. I mean, my friend George Lover was crying every day. We don't have UP. There's an opportunity for ANC, man. I see like 2, 3. Good time.
I don't know what ANC got to do with that whole thing. Even though they are ANC partisans, I mean, they are now the show.
No, I mean, this are stepping down, stepping back is favoring ANC to have a voice on Spoon Talk.
I mean, didn't we have a voice before? I mean, I'll stand up there.
More voices. Let me ask.
Well, we have partisans on the show, and that's something that you cannot take away. I mean, ANC has some of the best brains in Liberia, so you'll not be surprised that in every Liberian business you see members of the ANC involved. But I have to disagree with Al Hassan, who's seen UJ Fadiga. I mean, we have to reach at a place where we establish businesses. We have to ensure that to some extent we maintain the integrity and the standing of the business. The accusations against Stanton Waterspoon are very, very grave. Look, I was somewhere way in Providence today, and I mean, among so totally, white kids, and they were all talking about the fact that some nursing school in Florida was selling nursing degrees for 15,000, and I was shocked. I mean, because I had identified as a Liberian when they were talking about it, I just kept quiet because I felt embarrassed, right? So look, this is best practice. Stanton's wife, for example, is not accused of doing anything. He should step aside and give the business to his wife to run it. I mean, that's what you do, because separating yourself from the business, does that mean you want your dream to die or your dream will die?
But that's what he did.
You have to no, but I mean, then why were they having the fight initially? Because this was the same reason some of the other panelists left. They asked him to have stepped aside. He should have done this way before. Because look, no disrespect to Stanton, he has been one of the lead persons fighting against graft, fighting against ills in the society. He has had one of the loudest mouths talking about the ills in the Liberian society. And he raised the bar to a certain degree. Yes, I may have disagreed with him and some of the stands he took in a lot of cases, right? But it was good to a considerable degree. When it came back to him, he asked us as a public to treat him differently. I mean, that's unacceptable. He should have left immediately. I mean, like the very day he got the accusations, the next day he should have stepped down and gave the business to his wife to run if he didn't want, because look, his wife is not accused of doing anything. And that's still going to be his family business. He would have given it to his brother, his son, or whoever he deemed necessary.
Mr. Scarsely, the same lady was suggested by the ex-panelist, the TT lady.
Yes, I mean, great. The point here is, why did we have the initial force? Why did he have to lose the initial panelists? Also, understand those panelists left. They left with their own followers. So it has taken away from Spoon. It brought a lot of backlash to Spoon. You cannot even dispute that. It kind of dampened the chances of Spoon really leading as she was or she was going to do during the elections. So right now, what they are trying to do is to regain their somewhat lost team. And it's not bad. He stepped down a little bit late, but it's not a bad thing. And I don't want people to start attacking and the panelists are left and calling them names. Look, it is not because I appear on Focus on Liberia and Mr. Ja does something and I don't feel comfortable about it. I have to tell you, I mean, I don't feel comfortable about something you did. And I believe that you should step aside. If you don't want to step aside, I have the right to step aside. That does not mean I envy you or I hate you or I want your platform to die. I mean, we try to stereotype people and call people names for standing up for what they believe in. That's unacceptable. We have to respect people's views, even if we disagree with them, even if we don't like the actions they took. But this is something they are standing up for. And I saw Hassan trying to literally berate, talking about Tamale was nothing or whatever. I mean, that's unacceptable. It doesn't matter what he.
But that's not what I said. I said
he said he was nothing. He said, I mean, some of these people were nothing, and Stanton made them. What do you mean by Stanton made them? So because Stanton gave people that.
Let me correct.
Excuse me. You said Stanton made people. You said that.
So Kasali, stop talking. He doesn't keep quiet soon. Go ahead, 30 seconds so that Wele and Tavi can come in.
Hurry up.
You can raise people. You can train people. You give people fame, and you make them great. You make them rich.
But they made you too.
That does not mean if you are alleged of stealing, they should back you. I mean, like, what is this? Yeah. Look, I believe in Mr. Cummins. Strongly believe in Mr. Cummins. I'm coming before I conclude. And I know he's a great gentleman. But if there's an allegation that comes against Mr. Cummins and I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm going to tell him I will stay away. Because at the end of the day, I have a name to protect. I cannot ruin my name because someone gave me an opportunity. I mean, that's unacceptable. And we should stop trying to stereotype people like this.
Thank you. Mrs. Mamba.
Let me clear my knee. You can't let a man throw up mud on my knee.
Your turn, not fast.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me give
That'll be
you
unfair to me.
I'm afraid
The
to
man
hear.
put words in my mouth. Hey, you can't put
No,
words in my mouth.
But you know, I was coming back when I told about these
No, you said nobody. You said nobody knew them.
No,
I'll come back. So wait to play and after I finish.
Wait now.
No, I'm coming to add to it. So where did you clear your knee after?
All right, go ahead.
No. I'll take your 1 minute and respond. Then we go to.
If the mental something I don't like, I'll have to respond to.
All right. So, the thing here is Dennis, we've been around for long. I'm not saying that Tourmaline and all these guys are fine brothers. I know them very well. But the fact of it is, most of those guys rose to prominence nationally.
All of them, including Stanton, right? We all saw
even
them.
Stanton, they rose something. But what I'm saying is that this man created a platform and gave people the opportunity. The thing is, Mr. Gilman is saying it's easily said and done. Look at it, the litigation against Fox News. How many have you seen article murder with language is something? No, these things happen. It takes time. You don't have money in something. This guy paid people over $10,000 a year. How many of us were paying people on our platform? No, this guy put some serious money in it.
Hassan, let me ask you.
No, I don't like that argument.
Let me ask you.
Hold on, Moba. Let him finish. You want to take
the thing Motoba is saying is that none of those guys left Spoon because of alleged allegation against Stanton. They were on this show. They were on multiple shows. Never did they once. You guys are only making up your own theory. Never did they say that they left Spoon because it was tainting their reputation or because of alleged indictment, things that Stanton was indicted with. Let us establish that. The reason they left was because of their own whatever reason. And for some of us that dig deeper, we have sources on the ground. I was informed by credible source on the ground that these people were giving financial something by people within the administration.
No. I mean, no.
Validation. You can't speak like that.
Mr. We can take that here. I mean, look, please.
Go ahead, Padiga, and your turn.
I verified that information. It was from.
So you are saying those guys that left, they were bribed to leave?
I got to know because it felt like a hostile takeover. That's how it felt.
No. Thank you.
Stanton did it. Whatever the case is, the fact of the matter is the brother has stepped aside. He has turned it over to a competent female that is well about to take it to whatever level it is. And for me, I'm more focused on the information dissemination part. This has become an integral part of our information dissemination system, and I don't believe that it should die. The Stanton he's a big boy, he can handle his case. I'm sure his lawyers are there. I believe in the American system. But let us focus on what Spoon Network means to Liberia. This is a network of TV and multiple radio stations that is disseminating information to all Liberians. It's free. He said it for all Liberians, and every Liberian can come on that platform. I think that is something we should cherish and focus on.
And I don't think even those that left didn't cherish that. So nobody is saying Spoon should close down. So that's not the point, right? But let me take Wale. Wale, let me get your take, Mrs. Mova.
Well, I think it's a little too late, but it is good that he stepped aside at this point. What really happened to him is that, he was grieving when he heard the news of the indictment, thinking about the justice system in the United States. It was something to get him to grieve. And we all know that the grieving process have 5 parts: the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, then acceptance. So at this point, he accepted to go through whatever it takes to fight the case. So now he's open to taking other decisions that he refused to take when his friends, these were personal buddies that he had that follow him everywhere, when they told him to do the same stuff, in his interest. But at that point, it was not time to talk about things like that because he was not accepting what went on, what's going on. So I understand, him coming back now to say, well, he's stepping aside, even though it was the same thing that he was asked to do. But my own disappointment is his colleagues have already left, and I really wish he would have brought them back and say, well, guys, this is what you told me. Now I get it. So come back and take the show forward to wherever we need it to be. But this is not the case. We have new people. Some of them now are, saying stuff against those that were there. But I think those people, some of them might have had different intentions, but I know a good number of them respected him and they had confidence, honesty as well to work with him to make the show great. But at that particular time, it was not the right time to make those suggestions that they were making because he was in a grieving process.
Thank you. I like that perspective. He was going through the stages, so now it's good. Let me go to Tavina. Tavi, you were also on that platform, so you maybe know a little more.
What was the question again?
What you make of the stepping down at this time? Little too late? Those guys, Mr. Fadiga is saying they were given money by the government to leave, or things like that, right? So it wouldn't make the platform balanced. Or did they leave too soon at a time? Mr. Witherspoon was grieving and he has not come to the acceptance yet. Could they have stuck around a little bit more to bring him to that point? Now they have been replaced and Spoon continuing to probably do well.
Well, I don't know about do well. We can have a discussion another time about the do well. But so the leaving, is it timely? Certainly not. So we're talking about his four friends, regardless of his state of being. And I heard, my sister say, he was not in the right frame of mind. He's still not in the right frame of mind, but that's why he has his legal team. And that's why he has his wife and his family. And that's why he got his board in Liberia or wherever they are. So on a decision like that, when your friends come to you, but not only friends were coming to him, not only the four guys though, even the very followers that watched him every day were commenting for him to step down, because from optics, that was just not a good approach. But the guys, because they were in close proximity where he said, they were telling him behind the scene, you need to step back because you need to save face. They said it on the show. We need to save face because we've been bombarded on all ends. Our family, people calling our name. So take your face. Let's first of all, let's change the poster, take you off, or just make it neutral. And it's so funny, after the guys left, after that back behind the scene conversation for almost a month and the guys left, 2 days after the guys left, they changed the poster. This is a man who said, when I'm in the right state of mind, he changed the poster. So because you didn't want, he didn't want it to be telling him, no, it was in his best interest.
No, but Tavina, he changed the poster because those four guys were on the poster. They were no longer with.
Regardless, he would have kept he and Francine there if he wanted to keep it that way. Move the four guys, to the poster to keep it face that, because he was like the Lion King and the baby lions were always under him. So he would have kept the picture all over. He cleaned it completely 2 days after those guys left. That's the first thing. On top of that, I heard Fadiga say, oh, that hey baby. And not only Fadiga, but other people say, oh, that hey baby. And he nurtured all of this. Nobody trying to take his company. Stanton didn't get it. They were trying to save him. Nobody can take his company. I said it before on this show. Besides state and federal government, nobody gonna take it. The guys were only saying step back. So like that, the people rebrand this country all the time. Because of one thing, if Cllr got a problem or Kraft got a problem, they change their product because they want to rebrand all that. Step back when your case is over. We'll do this. And even if the guys were not saying it, other people were saying it. You should have done that a long time ago. But what he did with those guys, he walked out of the meeting with them. He blocked them. He told them, all right, he wasn't doing it. Now, if he were not in the right state of mind, or he wanted to listen to them, he would have said a couple of things. I hear what you guys say, but let me speak to my lawyer about this, and let me get back to you in 72 hours. Let me get back to you in a week. Pray tell me, no guys, we're not going to do it. They are reasonable, rational guys. They would have done it. They have
Probably that happened.
What? No. I'm sorry. What?
It probably did happen.
No, it did not. Because I'm privileged to that information, just how you are, even more. Because I've been behind that scene, so I know from the beginning to the end. You know, he didn't. He all right said it. When I tell him nothing, he walked out of the meetings. He blocked them, and to this date, even though he did what they told him to do and what others told him to do, ever say he did a little bit, because Tino does not apologize to nobody. He cannot even. He doesn't even have the face to even call his friends to say, "I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I didn't treat you as friends or as colleagues or as peers to even apologize to them." So so there is nothing timely. He can come, he did it. Yes, he had to do it. There was no way out. And I like what he said, God's willing will be back, because he knows.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, you can ask me. Let me finish. I'll take as many questions. So people say all the guys then were paid and all of that. Let's not focus on only the 4 guys. The 4 guys were not the only people saying it. People are writing newspaper articles. People were doing posts about it. People are having talk show about it. Those things it was said. Oh my people, you're sorry. It was said everywhere. So it is not only. I want to a couple of things Hassan said, and I think I need to speak to that. One thing you said that, he built an empire in Liberia, he bought several media stations. We're not taking it from him. You know why he did all of that, Fadigar? You didn't, I know. Stanton got money more than everybody else. So he could buy up. And then he had a government connection. Ashford started with a government connection with him because Ashford was able to register the company because of the government connection. And then he continued on that path. And another thing that Stanton made these guys is a 50-50. Actually, it's a 75-25. Because those guys made Stanton. Stanton had money, but nobody knew Stanton. Nobody knew him. Those guys, with their influence, whether they Beno, they Tomanio, they Peabody, they knew, especially Tomani. Tomani knew everybody in the government, everybody in every government, because they've been around ever since. So they were using the connection to bring people on that show, and even bring some of the panelists that are on that show. So through that process, yes, it gave them some clout because, they own a platform that 4,000 people watching it at the moment, but he didn't make them. It was a 50-50 thing. With all those guys, he wouldn't have come this far. So I don't want people to be saying, "Oh, he made them." He didn't make them. Those children had their own connection. Sitting on spoon is not the only thing.
Thank you.
No men.
Thank you.
Let me
ask him a question. He said he got a question for me. Fatika
I know.
Okay.
I want to announce our call number so our callers can call. We want to bring them in after your question. 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. That's the number to call to be a part of the conversation.
It's a few minutes. I said I have a question. He didn't allow me to ask my question. Now Tevina has a question.
No, not that.
I got a question. Fatika got a question for me.
Oh,
I got a question. No, I got a question.
They all man can't keep quiet. They want to talk all day. Jesus.
Mr. Fadiga, your question.
All right, you said it all. One thing you're missing is those guys didn't leave because of any tinting character. They only told you guys on multiple platforms that they were leaving because they want to rebranding or whatever branding. As someone that have started a media institution and have been around for long, I know how difficult. It's a lonely and very difficult.
Is that a question?
No, Dennis, I want to lay my premise.
Okay.
It's easy for you to walk in and say, walk away.
No, Mr. Fadiga, they were not.
My question here is,
They didn't say he should walk away for him. Mr. Fadiga, I knew
either way.
No.
They did not.
No. Listen, if you listen to the broadcast, they said they had talked to him so many times behind the scenes for him to just go.
This is where
I thought Mr. Fadiga asking question.
Savina, this man is a new man. He got to present and defend where he's at.
No, I'm not defending nobody.
Hold on, Mr. Fadiga, ask your question quickly.
I cannot be objective here.
My question to you is this.
Mm-hmm.
They talked to this guy to leave. Do you think the approach by friends or people that were his friends, even though they talked to him in the back, Do you think the approach, making media rounds, airing all their dirty laundry, even though everything they said, they not say anything about repetition or anything that, oh yeah, we just talked to them and rebrand something. Rebrand for what? What was the idea? What was in the circuit? Do you think the approach was good?
No, you mean
that was the
no,
worst thing.
Any question for me? Let me talk.
Hold on. That's what I'm here for. When you say approach after they left, or
after.
Hold on. I want to. Fadiga,
even.
But let me answer that.
Hold on.
After they
I know
left,
you will answer. You know this
if
answer.
they were true, I can question the friendship. I don't know about the friendship. I'm not even friends with.
Which approach are you questioning after or
my
before?
approach is taking it in the media.
But that's after
they left.
Yeah.
But that was OPCC. That was OPCC. That was Spill Mill. He blacked them. They decided to take out the Cllr and he got.
Well, if they have truly good intention, I think
Thank you. All right. Sabina, answer the question. Moba.
I feel Mr. Game say you're not objective. If Mr. Game say you're not objective, then you're only.
That was OPCC.
Yeah. Moba, go ahead. Ask your question. Then we bring in our first caller.
So, since to Mr. Fadiga, so because Stanton supposedly made these people famous, or he made them in whatever
Stop putting
way.
words in my mouth.
Oh, you said it.
He made it. No, don't. Let me
Okay.
say
Because of what? Okay. Let me repoint. Let me repoint the question.
Those people were not as.
But let me answer. Wait, you answer. You answer. Let me just ask.
Come from my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. Let me say it so that
let me ask.
With the boy, yeah, they come from my mouth.
Okay, let me ask. Let me ask. So because Stanton gave people. Because Stanton gave people the opportunity
in your own word, not my word.
But wait now, because Stanton gave people the opportunity to be on his show, that means they had to accept and live with all his baggages.
Is that a question for me?
That's the question.
What was the baggage? Yeah. What was the baggage?
He was alleged of involving criminal activity by a credible U.S. force.
Was he convicted?
He was not convicted. But don't you think that was having an effect on the image of the show and those guys too?
All right.
And then make a man who get knife to everybody here for
Tabina, please.
How does the indictment of Stanton in a completely unrelated case, what does it have to do with? It's like, let me pose this question again. My answer is in a rhetorical question that's in it. If a doctor is accused of malpractice, do you go and close the hospital down?
That's not the same case yet. This is completely different. Let me ask you another rhetorical question. If they say you are friends,
hold on, Mr. Fadiga. Mr. Fadiga.
I see how Mr.
Mr. Fadiga.
It's a hospital for disseminating information. You do not close the hospital because a doctor was
the same case here. So let me ask you.
Close the station.
If they said, Mr. Fadiga, if the U.S. government has said,
who pay for this?
If the U.S. government has said,
of his own money,
it doesn't matter.
Stop. I mean, no. Because he's paying our own money. That means what?
If take his money away, who else was going to pay?
He can take his money away. He will have put his wife there.
Mr. Fadiga.
He did it. It doesn't matter. He put his money there. He chose the time that he wanted to leave.
No, it doesn't work.
Mr. Fadiga.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Mr. Fadiga.
We have to talk about that on the show.
Mr. Fadiga.
I'm here.
Hold on. Let's get this clear. Nobody was asking Mr. Stanton to close the station down. Right?
What were they asking him?
They were asking him to leave Spoon Talk.
How can you tell someone
and be in the background? Do everything else, but just don't come on camera. Remove your picture. Right? That's all they were asking. So in the case of the doctor, they are not asking the doctor to close the practice. They just say, don't practice. You can be in the house and give people, paracetamol, but don't bring it here, right? Yeah. But let me bring in our callers here.
And he did that, right?
Okay. Well, 7 weeks later.
Well, he did it. I mean,
7 weeks later,
he said, apologize. I apologize. He said, you apologize.
So you, Mr. Fadiga, if someone has said you are working with
let me bring in our first caller here. That's Benjamin Jonah. Ben, you are live.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have a speech impediment, so I would need a lot of time to put myself through.
Please, 1 minute, please.
No, not 1 minute. I disagree with you. But anyway, so first of all, funny guys.
Okay, 2 minutes.
You are making a big mistake here. In the first place, when you take a job of someone, it is no way, it is unprofessional to speak about that person whose job you have taken. It is just so unprofessional. You should not do that. I mean, it's not saying well for you. I hope you can take that cue for that. Now, let's move forward. I was told that the guy called Fatiga, he has a twin brother. He lives in Maryland. He was paid by the weird government. I have the evidence. But I'm not going to share it. And this guy knows from most of the killings that have been going on in Liberia with the weird government. And I have it. But I will not share it with the Liberian people. Fatiga, do you believe me? Do you want the Liberian police to go?
Let's stick to the issue, Ben. Let's stick to the issue we are discussing.
Because the reason why I am saying this is that people are behaving as if because someone said something about someone, that makes it true. No, that is not true. Yes, and this whole thing has been so politicized on both sides. I can see Valley telling the guy has some guilt, and I can see why you would have guilt. And I can see the former justice, I can see why she would be making such, because you are so terrible. So why should this thing be so partisan? It's because, again, Liberians refuse to be honest. So, this thing, someone lost their mind, and all we can do is to politicize it. This is terrible.
Thank you.
But the only thing that the government can do now, the government has a DNA machine in the country. In our day, the easiest thing to do now is to get the DNA of Valley and the girls who died and the other two girls, and then this thing would be easily proven. Get the DNA.
How can they do that when they're protecting the person?
To me, that if Gloria was the one who was the target, how come nothing happened to her? Does that say anything to anybody? She was the target. If she said, I saw the guy in his face, that means she was in close proximity. And this man was using a knife. So you want to tell me that he wouldn't have stabbed her? There's just so many things that are not adding up.
Thank you.
So many things on both sides.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Let me go to Aaron Poblet. Aaron, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
Excellent.
Good evening to the panelists. The first thing I'm going to address is the case in Liberia with former Justice Gloria Scott. I will address Cllr personally. Hey, Cllr, you in this country, the great United States, right? If a crime occurs, the police somebody can just call from Yugoslavia and tell the police that, it was Cllr who committed the crime, and then the police just come to you and arrest you? That's my question to you. Because all you guys saying on this show is just what the previous caller said. You guys just trying to politicize this thing, okay? You got to give the police a chance to do their investigation. California is not even in Liberia. How can he identify somebody?
You asked me a question, you answered it.
He's not even in Liberia. Does that make any sense? And you guys, you're going to sit down on the show and say, Mr. Gilmore lying, the government are asking for human beings? Why can't we get the police?
Man, I wish I could answer that guy.
You got DNA machine that can do all of that. Okay, let's get the police to jail.
Thank you.
If you don't come
you asked the question, if you didn't answer it, so
give up for the chance.
So about the take a water spoon.
Okay.
So look, Mr. Dennis, I think the problem with Centon is Centon been bad-mouthing a lot of people a lot, especially government officials and stuff, and other people, other political leaders. So when it came to his time, he was embarrassed to step down because those guys never wanted to take his platform away from him. They never wanted to take the platform away from him. The platform is going dead. You got a party guy on your platform. The same thing the caller said. But the guy, if Joshua called you and gave him money today, he will take it. If Joshua called you and gave him money, you're going to take it. All the people on the platform. But because
get interesting people on.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. And don't use nonsense. Nobody's talking. Let me bring in Evans Morris.
Somebody asking for the number. Can you put a number up?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, and hello to your panelists tonight. I'm feeling good tonight, so I'll be really, really kind and sensitive tonight. Are you getting me?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I know you already know this, Mr. Job, but I will ask you to send your reporter in Liberia to Cllr's, Scott House, just to kind of take, in the how fortified her home is, just to get that picture so we can see how it is. But then I want to get to quickly to her situation. You rightfully said, Mr. Job, because you're so smart, you said that if this guy, how did this guy even know where her quarters are in her home? They got the master bedroom. I don't know if it's a 2-story home. How did he know where to go directly into her dwelling area? As we learned, she locks her gate before she goes to bed and takes the key with her. So how did he just run outside after being pepper sprayed, either hop the fence, because as we know the fence is really high, or open the gate and escape? When you have two security guard and one guy that came later who is a relative who was guarding the house. So we have to ask that question in the first place. And then the second thing is, there's a saying, facts don't care about your emotions. What the police should be doing is gathering facts and leaving the emotions, to civil society people to worry about. So when we ask these questions and we pose these questions, we're only trying to gather the facts. And then lastly, to go to Mr. Verdier, forgive me. This is a guy who accused his wife of being a hopocho. This is a guy who said his wife was trying to kill him with witchcraft in Liberia. So when people try to harp on his credibility to make him believable, we should also question his credibility. He's not infallible. You can't sit on this platform and say because he served as a TRC commissioner chairman, he's infallible. That's why I say he dabbles in what I like to call reputation laundering. He's using that credibility that he gained from the TRC as being the chairman to say anything and have people believe him because he was one somebody who had a position of trust in our society. We can't do that.
Thank you.
Lastly, to the extent on what it says.
And be quick now. We have many callers.
Yeah, I'll be very quick on this part. Like I said, it's not a blind choice. This guy isn't completely devoting himself from this whole sport TV. His wife is very close friend, I think a family member of this TT lady that's in Liberia who's heading the company. So he's going to be running that company through a proxy through his wife and TT. So let's not kid ourselves. He's not really stepping down. He's just removing himself to prove the other guys wrong because they said that's what he didn't want to do it. He's trying to counteract them by doing exactly what they asked him to do. Wanted to say, you see, I was going to do it, but they had different intentions. I did the same thing now, and everything is okay. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully the guys can answer my points on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. GS Camus, go ahead, please. You're live.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you so much, and thank the panelists. I just one or two person made some of my points. So I just want to say that, the paradigm got a parable to say, that means if it's not on you, you're asking, if it's not on you, you can say, oh, you're squeeze out asking and take all the blubber in it, and they will squeeze it because it's not on you. That's why I said the ecosystem.
Mr. Given.
And you killing the chicken and see how you cut the chicken so you know one day when you grab it, that's how you're gonna cut it, that's how you're gonna kill it. You sitting over there, you got your platform. Everybody know the platform. Today, tomorrow, they have to investigate, but something else happened. That Jimmy said, move on there, give me the platform. Step back, we rebrand it, we take FOF on there, or we take every other thing. Okay, I'll leave it like that. Then I'll come to the later thing. The people that somebody gave, the thing happened on Wednesday night. Somebody gave us information on Thursday that this is what happened, this is what happened. Then the man, The police, the post police are what here, and now about Jasper Koji and Valley Teller, and not anymore about the lady. The guy is giving different statement. The police gave a different statement. The police spokesman gave a different statement. We followed it here. The police, however, said they are not speaking to the woman. She's not cooperating. When the thing happened, I think on Friday, the police put out a statement. And in that statement, they said the Cllr narrated. And after the man went, the police director went to the Senate, they confronted him. He said, "We are not speaking to the lady at all." And then they brought up the test. I mean, they pressed something and gave him copy. They said, "Oh, okay, we are not taking written statement from her." Then we come back to the Valley Teller thing. Valley Teller said he has not been to. I mean, he been to the charge of quarter since. I said the police since October. I mean October. Since February 1st, he has not gone home. And we all know. I remember when small in our belt, when the Madingo people putting all the baby or the Nimi, the Nigerian and the Madingo. That's a big ceremony. You can't miss it for any reason.
Well, maybe Valley is not like that, so we can use that as any.
So, but according to the wife, that's corporate something. According to the wife said she called her husband. The husband said he was not coming home because the hour had you.
Yeah.
They asked Valley said yeah, they asked what had you. Then the body said they spray pepper spray in. Laura came out and said they spray pepper spray in. With all the information before even the press conference. Now, it's not a scar that on his face. We're talking about it. I think the right eye is kind of like closing. Then his hand, when he put his hand on the table, they said there was a fresh mark on his hand. When he put his hand on the table with the press conference, you will see that guy pulled his hand back for him to put his hand on the table because there was a scratching mark. The people who saw it, they said there was a scratching mark. I saw the man put his hand
on the
table and put it on the. So, with all of these things, the police saying this, civil society or public opinion saying this, these are the things we're talking about. If the police were not practicing police, then we'll get something to think.
Thank you.
Then the last thing to
No. Let me move on to the next call. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Houston Brooks, go ahead.
Oh, man. Hello to you there, Brother Dennis, and good evening to the rest of the panelists. Hey, man, quickly on the Storm saga, I would use the word saga, not to use the word that I think I want to use, but on the Storm saga, this is a universal natural law. We all can have our explanations of why things happen, why those gentlemen left the spoon talk. But it's like the game of dominoes. If you line up the dominoes chips and you hit the first chip, all the other chips in sequence is going to fall. Everything happened the way they happened because of the indictment, period. The indictment was the catalyst that set everything into motion that eventually leads to all the discussions we're having now, the reason why this and that. It's the universal natural law that what you do in life affects those around you, either positively or negatively. Your actions affect your close cycle, your family, your friends, and everybody that's associated with you. So I will leave that. Now, quickly, my heart goes out to former Chief Justice Scott. On this particular matter, the only thing I have to say on it, last week Sunday, so today is Friday, last week Sunday, Mr. Gaiman on his show on your focus on Liberia, opened the topic with Mrs. Scott need to be arrested, she need to be, but that's fine, that's the way he sees it. The only thing I saw for me on my end, I was a little bit on the back because he did not pay respect. He did not pay respect to the dead. You see, we have a dead young Liberian as a result of that incident. So at least
appear better how he pay respect to the dead first, and then he continues with the topic. That's all I had to say on that. Now, to close, you know me, I'm very pessimistic about most matters of Liberia, so I'm going to say nothing will become of this case. Nothing will become of this case. I will get off the phone and I will continue to follow you. You guys remember 2019, Mr. Matthew Innes. Today is like, I think, the anniversary or something. So nothing will become of this case like nothing has become of all the other cases before it.
Thank you.
Everybody, I will continue to enjoy. I appreciate everybody. I'm learning and I'm following the show. And I respect all you and all your panelists.
Thank you.
So goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Let me go to Ibrahim Kone, and then we have Mariam Kamara, and we go to our panelists. Ibrahim.
Yes, good evening, Dennis, and good evening to all of the panelists on the show tonight. It's great to be here, but there are a couple of things. Many times people listen to your fellow Liberians on articulating issues. Sometimes you're kind of pressed to come in and give your take. Firstly, I know my dear brother Mulva Kesali has taken some political latches already for a statement that he made with regards to Councilor Verdia verse being like a Holy Bible. When it's spoken, it should just be adhered to. I think that is a wrong thing for a person like Mulva Kesali to state that, because
that's not what I said.
You said something close, Mr. Mulva.
But that's not what I said.
Yes. And so pretty much if you say that you know who is Councilor Verdia has his own shortcomings. Like somebody just delved into his personal life. I don't think that's a situation that, especially sitting thousands of miles away, to stay such that, hey, look, I stated XYZ and the government just go about, start to either dismiss or suspend people. That is an ugly situation. We all as Liberians should not encourage that. Now, if there are
let's go to your next point.
Yes. Secondly, my dear Fadiga, please understand that Roger Edge from Fox stepped aside just on the mere allegation of sexual harassment. And Roger Edge, you know the role he played in Fox from his very get-go. And he stepped aside respectfully for the entity to move forward. So indeed, if Mr. Witherspoon is under such an indictment, Roger was not indicted, but Mr. Witherspoon is indicted for the face of an institution. That was a prudent thing to do. Now to come and sit there and talk about it, firstly, these guys will get on that platform every time based on the link that he's going to send them. So it's not like they were controlling the day-to-day activity of Spoon. So I just want you to understand that. Secondly,
thank you.
If Spoon is incorporated, meaning to say it's not a sole proprietorship, it should be guided by board of directors that will make decisions.
Thank you, Mr.
And lastly, Dennis, let me just close on this, please. For both sides of the Gloria Scott situation, there have been a lot of lapses on issues.
Right.
Even today, the former Chief Justice's own statement was kind of a little bit disappointing, to the point that she literally almost threw the Verdia under the bus. They said, whoever stated that to you, got to go action. So we got to extrapolate all of the facts in these things and then make logical analysis. Thank you for the time, my brother.
Thank you. Let's get our last caller here, Mariam Kamara.
Yeah, Mr. John, hi, how are you?
You don't sound like Mariam. What's your name, please?
My name is Ibrahim Keita.
Oh, Ibrahim Keita, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me. What I'm trying to say is, we in Liberia, we try to politicize everything. But at times, before we talk sometimes, even we got start to take, but we should analyze some stuff. Like you said, that Valley spoke to his wife. People went and spoke to his wife. The way you're saying that a man who baby naming ceremony, the situation you're talking about, if that man going to such a situation like that, he can't cancel the whole baby naming ceremony. There's no way he can call his wife and say, "We'll cancel it."
who come and sit down here, who make stories to say, oh, somebody went and spoke to his wife to say, oh, he will not able to come because first of all, before daybreak, that man will tell his wife, he said, no baby ceremony will be here. And number one, people saying the way they classify body to be. Everybody, when you classify body to be that kind of man, if that man goes to that lady, you think he will leave that lady alone? Even when you pepper spirit out, he will not kill that woman. You think that man going there, he will go there by himself? He will not go there with a gun? Like you said, that man had a gun? Let us be realistic to ourselves. We should forget about politicizing everything. And number two, you think one thing about Waterspoon, he think that he's better than everybody, that's his problem. And Mr. Fadiga are taking over there. Fadiga in Liberia, that's what I said. People criticizing George Weah today. But even Fadiga, we put Fadiga in place of George Weah today, he feel worse than George Weah. Fadiga, when he was not on our show, Fadiga was criticizing Waterspoon every day. In fact, I listened to one of the shows. He said, oh, the way the pilots they can be doing, the way they can be doing, people can be calling them and give them information. That's the way the show is supposed to be operating. But it's still funny that seen that today. Back to Waterspoon. Liberia, we're not going nowhere right now. Let me be honest with you. Everybody defending their people.
Thank you, Abraham. Thank you. Mr. Fadiga, do you know the magnitude of this indictment throughout? It appears to me that you are kind of downplaying it, that it is not a conviction. So you shouldn't make much of it. Am I reading your?
No, I'm not downplaying. You see, you guys keep trying to put words.
No. That's why I'm asking you.
We're talking two different things here.
Okay.
We're talking the indictment, and I have said it, and I have consistently said this. I believe in the American justice system. I believe that Mr. Witherspoon.
I know you to talk.
I believe that Mr. Witherspoon.
I'm surprised. I am surprised at what I'm hearing.
This is not Fadiga.
I am shocked. This is not a Fadiga, though.
The man was sore. He's not poor. The man was sore. Listen, tell me the man was sore. He now poor. Then I tell him to poor.
I'm sure the still Fadiga. And I will just the last caller. The caller doesn't know me. If you know me, you will not say that thing. Let me tell you something. I've been very clear. I do understand the gravity of this, the charges levied against Mr. Waterspoon. I do know that he's in a lot of trouble if we don't get a miracle or something that happen. I understand that. I understand the charges. I know how serious they are.
Right.
But we are talking two different things. I believe that the American justice system, the law will take its course. That whatever will happen, will happen. As a Liberian, as someone that have been in the Liberian community, I wish him well. I pray for the best outcome for his situation. Let's turn this to Spoon Network. Spoon Network. Let me tell you one thing before I even go forward. You see, do you know what happened to Fonati Kofa, the guy who is the deputy speaker now in Liberia? Fonati Kofa, let me just give you guys a brief history.
That's why he went be minister and made her in a house. He should have been there.
Well, let me tell you what happened to Fonati Kofa. If you follow the case, if you know what happened during the case,
I know.
Fonati Kofa told the court that the reason he embezzled or he stole that money or he took that money was because he was using the money to build a street in his hometown. Believe it or not, the judges, the jury bought that story.
But people can go with God can bless too, but he will still serve a time. He will serve some time. He can go with the God can bless story. He will still serve some time.
Hold on. This is the same American justice system. The Fonati Kofa.
So it's possible that Mr. Witherspoon be acquitted. That's your point, right?
I'm just giving you what has happened, and I'm telling you the
But
story.
Fonati wasn't acquitted. Fonati served jail time.
You are admitting without stating that Stanton did something very bad.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know what Stanton did. I don't know.
That's what you're saying here, right?
How can you not know?
Yeah, admitting without stating it.
Hold on now. No, you guys.
You know what Stanton did because you read it. You are a learned man. You know.
Still an allegation. Until he is tried and convicted, I cannot say that he's guilty.
No, agree.
So, let's agree with that.
Nobody's saying that.
Clinton has not been found guilty. Let us not just say he's guilty now. There are some
Nobody said that.
Let's wait for that time. But let's talk about we're talking two different things.
We're talking about integrity. We're talking about optics. We're talking about values. And then you're wait until that time.
Right.
You can give me a break.
Listen now, I gave you a scenario. Here is a doctor that is running the biggest hospital, referral hospital, and this doctor is indicted. Will you close down the hospital?
The doctor do not own the hospital with
I'm talking about private run hospital.
If he is the CEO of the hospital, he will be removed and be replaced temporarily while the hospital functions.
No, you
succession planning.
That's why I let the parliament that brought the racing.
You're missing apple and banana.
You all protect me now. I need some protection here because it seems like you guys need to protect me. I need some protection.
Mr. Fadiga, you're not giving me the meat.
Let me the reason why I'm bringing this hospital analogy is this. We can all disagree with Simpson, but let us agree on one thing. We agree here. I want us to find common ground. It's not about winning, this person lose or something. Can we all disagree, or can we all state that the Spoon Network is not an integral part of our information dissemination system? We all know how information is. This may have more than 3 to 5 radio stations.
That is not relevant.
That's not a topic of discussion. Why would we bringing that in?
No, I want you guys to understand my psyche and where I'm heading with this thing.
Okay, help us understand.
This man, despite the damning allegation against this man, he has created something that a lot of people do not have access to.
We agree.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So what happened here is, my thing was, despite the indictment against him, in Liberia, we're going to say, burn. So he's indicted, you make sure Spoon Network close down.
No, Mr. Fadiga, I wouldn't give you more chance. No, Mr. Fadiga, let me move on to the next person.
Yeah, because
Mr. Fadiga, Mr. Fadiga. No. You keep repeating this.
He's off track. You are off track.
Let me learn this one point.
Nobody is asking for Spoon to be closed down.
No, you can. There's a way you can ask for it. This is a sole proprietorship. This man invested 100% in it. If you go and take away,
oh my God, then it
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Thank you.
The part of the matter here is he did it when he felt comfortable doing it. So why are you guys going beating him on it? The man did it already. Isn't that what we wanted? His face is not there anymore. He publicly acknowledged that he's stepping aside. Put another female there. Let's watch and see how the network going to run. And we can all agree that this network is important for Liberia. He done what he do. Whether he did it before or after, what does it matter? The fact of the matter here, he did it.
Thank you. And Mr. Cassidy, I'm coming to you because you're a politician, right? Because this is what everybody
on the show is a politician.
This is what we see. Maybe you are the highest ranking politician here because you are ANC Youth Secretary. Right. But this is what we see. This is what we see in our politics, right? That we justify whatever when it suits us. What Mr. Fadiga is doing is purely justification because I know him little, right? Because he's saying nobody is asking that Spoon be closed down. The guys were only asking for temporary, staying back from the TV show, which is Spoon Talk. And Spoon Network is way bigger than Spoon Talk, right? He's also saying if the man stay back, it means he wouldn't support the network. But now he's staying back and he's still supporting. So there's no. But my issue here is this is what you guys, the politicians, do, right? No matter what anybody does, for instance, in your case, Mr. Cummings, you will still ride with him. We see this a lot.
No.
I would tell Joe
No.
he does wrong. I would never back him.
No, Mr. Gamer, you would never do that. Stop,
You
man.
would never do that,
Never.
Mr. Gamer. Don't even go there.
I'm
Don't
capable
even
of
go
telling
there.
Mr.
You
Cummings
would
what I don't
never
agree
do
with,
that.
and you rule to judge me. And I have done that multiple times.
Miss
Mr.
Morva,
Jack,
my witness.
Mr. Jack,
I'm not going to cook with you.
Let me say this. The key difference here between what politicians that are very close to political institutions or that hold positions is that they would not come publicly and try to besmear the reputation of their political party or political institution. But that is not the case here. If, for example, a high-ranking member of the ANC was alleged to have done all the things that Mr. Waterspoon is alleged to have done, we would have suspended the person
It
without.
may not be the same, but it's similar. But anyway, let us not go into ANC. I just brought that up to make a point.
Yeah, but something I need to strike here very importantly. Now, you see, Mr. Fadiga, he has a new job, and I'm told when you start working for Spoon Talk, they give you $10,000, for a resettlement. Apparently, that's why he's defending. He doesn't want the other guys to come back.
I make my own money.
I didn't say you don't raise your own money, but you got a $10,000 check. So right now, you try to make the other guys look like they are terrible or they wanted the job. Nobody want. I mean, at least from what we've heard from them, none of them asked Stanton to turn the station over to them. All they asked Stanton to do was to, in a short way, say recuse yourself from your position.
What proof do you have that was happy?
That's what they said. Do you have any other thing that we don't know? Now you already have sat on the show tonight. You have already sat on the show, admitted with us sitting. Admitted with us sitting. I'm hearing from you, and you are Stanton's new employee. You are speaking Stanton's position here. Now you have admitted with us stating that because representative from
Konati
Kofa went to court and he said he stole money to build Rosie a home. That Mr. Stanton Waterspoon will tell us he stole money because he wanted to.
I
said you admitted of us stating. I said you admitted of us stating that the man will go and say, "Oh, he did fuck and bless anybody." And he was helping poor people. That's not so. Look, we have to raise the bar. This man did a great job. He has the biggest radio network in Liberia. That is undisputed. In fact, the network is bigger than him. Excuse me, the network is bigger than him. That network should outlive him. He has built a platform that his children should even benefit from and run. The Waterspoon family can run that business even while he is not CEO or he is not directly involved. That's what people do. He has family members. He has a right. No, that's how can you try to tell us that the other guys they took money from the government to go and destroy Spoon? You're trying to make other people look bad. Why in the number one thing we should do here, the key person we should bash at tonight is Stanton Waterspoon and not the other guys, because Stanton is the one that has very legal and strong allegations against him of putting the lives of millions of people at risk. We should be bashing at Stanton instead of bashing at the other guys for taking a stand.
We're talking different thing. I will hear to bash Stanton. I will hear to
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I'm talking for Spoon Network. I'm not talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Pariga. I know you're in a very difficult position, but thank you. Tavina, hold on. We're about to conclude now.
You're about to conclude. I can't talk. And you were talking, I was listening.
Yeah. I'll give you the chance. I want us to conclude this.
Your 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right, go ahead.
On the Fonati Kofa case, that was for tax fraud.
Not tax fraud.
That was tax fraud. No. It had to do with taxes. That was tax. That was fraud. The case with Stanton, it is grave. And it's multi-level.
Konati Kofa ate client money. He sold property for people and ate the money.
That was not the meat of the property. There was tax fraud within that. He was
the tax was the smallest portion.
But that was about the point there with Stanton. Stanton is an interstate case, and he got multiple state.
I don't know nothing about that case.
Oh, you can read a judgment. You are very learned man. Read about it. But besides that, Stanton put the whole world, America, and the whole world at risk. Because of him, That case will be a precedent, will be a landmark case. They will be using it to judge other medical cases and other things here. They will tighten controls in all the
But
state
do you know that the news said that no
Blanket
evidence that
embarrassment to
anybody
the
was
way in
killed?
America ever.
Let me finish. Oh, even in my state here in Texas, they carry nurses to court. The state of Texas, the board of nursing, suing a whole bunch of nurses. And guess what? Those nurses, they're coming for him too. And then the state coming for him. So it doesn't even start yet. This is a many years thing here. So we cannot compare Fonati case with all of that. Fonati said you are paying Roy in River says they getting here 5 years or 3, I think about 5 years or something. Between 3 or 5. I remember because I was in Maryland by then. And not a scene with Stanton harassment. No comparison, nothing close. Nothing close.
Thank you, Tavina.
I'm done.
Thank you. Let me remind you that our friend Elvis Morris is watching us on the big screen. If you are watching us on the big screen and you want to share your picture with us, please do that. We love it. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., we're going to be discussing mining concessionaires in Liberia. What are their roles and responsibility, and how does our country benefit from all these big mining companies? Is there a better way to do it so that we can get the maximum benefit as a country? You want to find out tomorrow at 3 p.m. on FOL Marketplace. Then at 7 p.m. on the History Channel, we're going to be talking about Firestone and Fonadapo. Forced, that's the word, yes, forced. People were forced to work in Firestone and people were forced to go to work in Fonadapo. You don't want to miss the History Channel every Saturday at 7. Well, I want to thank you all. We should have talked about the Nigerian election, but time is fast spent. The election in Nigeria, Bola Tinubu won with 36%. Atiku Abubakar came second with 29%. Peter Obi with 25%. Rabiu came with 6%, and all the other candidates 2.7%. You should know that Atiku and Abubakar ran on the same ticket the last time in 2019 when they ran against the current president Buhari. So if the two stay together, all things being equal, if you combine their vote, they will probably take the day. You should also note that in that election, 93.4 million registered voters, out of that, only 24.9 cast their vote, leaving 68.5 voters staying home, say, we're not voting. We should also note that the voter turnout percent has been declining since 2003. It started with 65. Now we are at 26. Just quickly, for each of you, 1 minute each, how does this look like Liberia? Especially with the people are telling me, oh, opposition divided, and this is what's going to happen. Let me start with Alice, 30 seconds. Does this kind of tell you anything about Liberia?
Talking to me?
Mamba. Mrs.
Well,
Mamba.
the part that has to do with Obi, Peter Obi and his colleague, that I can relate to the opposition that were united but now split. I'm talking about the previous CPP.
And you think that's going to advantage Leah?
Well, it's possible because if they are not together, they will have divided numbers. The numbers will not be whole, like it happened in Nigeria. And President Weah might go the second term. So everybody should, take note.
Thank you. Mr. Fadiga, how does this look like Liberia? Anything?
No, different demographic, different politics. We just have about 40 minutes if you believe the censor, whatever it is they did there. But I think different thing. What went on in Nigeria is completely different from what is happening in Liberia. The notion that people need to come together, the opposition was together. One group thought that they would leave. They left. They've been hanging. They haven't seen people flooding to them. I think the CPP was a good thing. If the CPP stays together and other people come there, they can form other union. I think they should all go against George Weah, and whoever comes second, we'll see how we can get together and remove this nightmare. Other than that, I don't see any correlation between what happened in Nigeria and what happened in just by the fact they got Obi and all this in there. But I think it's a different case, different country, different things going on.
Tavina, let's look at the age factor, right? We see the person who won is 70 years old, and Atiku is also 76. Do you see Mr. Bwaka in this? Are you saying because when Bola won, people saying, hey, the older man wins, so it means VP Bwaka is going to win? Or people say, no, the incumbent party wins, so we are going to win. How do you read this?
You know, I don't like to discuss all the political talk and all these party things. I cannot wait for right.
Yeah, you can.
I'll pass, but I think, I mean, to me, the age doesn't matter. Yes, you know, we think that.
You're talking now.
No, let me just talk now. I'm saying that I'm here. To me, the age doesn't matter. I think people look at the age because they feel like if you have age, you have more life and more strength and all of that. I think if you're 100 years old and the people want to vote you and they like you, let them vote you. The thing about governing is not just one person. So if you have a good team around you.
But you think age is going to matter in Liberia?
You know, I don't know. I don't study politics like that. It's not my interest. So I don't know.
Mr. Kesali, is Mr. Cummings the Obi?
Because you always do it when you put me ahead of him, then he can't start punching me.
Is Mr. Cummings the Obi here?
No.
Instead of running with the old man,
no, Mr. Cummings is Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is Mr. Cummings. Look,
no, I'm drawing some parallels here.
No, in terms of, I mean, bringing about radical change and trying to make the country better. I mean, they have some ideologies, but when we go to election, it will not be the same thing. It cannot be compared. The fact here is that in Nigeria, a lot of young people, a lot of Nigerians believe that Peter Obi was a fresh, set of idea. Unfortunately, he was cheated. I mean, the whole election is fraudulent. We all agree that they rigged the election. So
all agree.
We, the young people, agree, to a large extent, and I agree with a lot of young people in Nigeria, that the election was fraudulent. You saw how the election was held. That is exactly what the CDC is going to try to do. That is the only thing I see that is parallel to what happened in Liberia.
Right.
They will try to steal the election in Liberia, but that would not happen. We can show Josh Ria and Mr. Gamer and his people that they would not steal the election. That's one. Two, now, the oldest person did not win, by the way. The oldest person is not Bola. The oldest person is Atiku. Atiku is older than Bola. So let's just get that clear. So if you look at age factor here, Mr. Cummings actually falls. If we would consider age, then Mr. Cummings is the one who is the Bola here. If we are talking about the age, because Baka is obviously the oldest, Mr. Cummings comes second, and Joshua is the youngest. So you see, if you look at the age factor, then Mr. Cummings is the Bola here. I mean, you try to draw parallel.
Mr. Goodman.
Oh Lord.
Mr. Goodman, we saw
I will talk back.
Mr. Goodman, let's look at the turnout. We just completed a census.
Right.
That now you the Southeast don't play with us now. We vote rich.
That's right.
No, I'm kidding, because the census did not measure voters, right? Those are just people living there. Right. But if you look at registered voters, 93 million, and now those who did not vote, 68 million. And then lesson we want to draw here, where election people talking about biometric and all these things, voter registration is still kind of hanging there. Do you see that it's going to impact the election, looking at the Nigerian election?
Well, when you look at election all over the world, voter apathy is something that we need to look at. Even in the United States, the voter participation keeps going down for obvious reasons. People are disappointed in different things. But what is constant in the Nigerian thing is the incumbent, and there are people here who, especially for the Unity Party piece, that will say that resources doesn't matter, that you don't need resources to win election. You were looking at the incumbent, Mr. Tenabu, the resources he brought, the organization he brought. Even some people, when we're talking about raking the election, he has so much resources that he could even rake the election and get away with it. So these are things we are talking about. Nobody can just sit on the laurel and say, this is not attributed to Liberia. I think we need to learn from some of the mistakes they made out there, for to look out. If you are the opposition, you should be like you say, make sure that your voters, you got people in every voting booth, you in every corner, you represent it, and be honest that when you are there, when the counting is done, you verify it. If it is against you, it's against you. If it's for you, it's for you.
Thank you. Also want to remind you, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. watch Abby Tyler's Healthy Living. This is the only health show on the network, so and probably on all social media platforms. So continue to watch. It's every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
And
then,
she does an excellent job. Excellent job.
Then every Friday at 6 p.m. is the literary hour. You want to learn about books? Jackie and Prof, they eat literature. So you don't want to miss it. It's every Friday at 6 p.m.
Another great one. That's correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time tonight. I want us to conclude the discussion here. We discussed three main issues here. Let me get your final thoughts. Let's start with Mr. Gaiman.
Well, great show, gentlemen and ladies. This is what this platform is all about. And welcome to Mr. Fadiga. If I were on a show and somebody wanted to say anything negative of FOL, I would defend FOL as my, not in a criminal sense like he's doing, because the gentleman has done very wrong. But yes, he has the right to defend Spoon, even though we know that even their viewership is fake, just like he himself is fake. So we know it's not.
Mr. Gaiman, can you speak without attacking personality? Mr. Fadiga, you're closing.
Fadiga will come over him.
The thing about seditions is that they have no chill. Look, and the thing, what's off with the guys in that incompetence? Look, Vodio made an allegation. Less than 48 hours later, we saw a group of people protecting a man that they alleged that's supposed to be innocent. Even people that didn't believe Vodio, just watching the whole thing, it says it all. So I'm not even going to go there with this whole CDC thing. These people are caught, and Liberia need to get rid of them. They need to be gone there yesterday. They are destroying our country. But let's talk to Stanton thing. I want you guys to understand that I'm not defending Stanton. I think Stanton can do a very good job of defending himself. I do not condone what happened or what he was alleged to have done. Those are serious allegations, and I take very seriously. I came from a long list of medical people. I'm in the medical field. I got mom that was a head nurse, so I came from a long list of medical field. So I know how important this.
You got your qualification from school?
No, I didn't get that school. I didn't do that other medical thing. But the bottom line here is we are talking two different things. When you invited me on this show, you invited me to speak to the fact that Stanton announced that he was leaving the program. That's why he told me. He announced that. What does this say about the network? Well, you wanted him to do it then. He did it later. The fact of the matter is he did it. I want us to also understand, and that's why I keep giving the hospital analogy. Say what you want about Stanton Witherspoon. This man created a platform that CDC, MPP, UP, he said for all Liberians, and I believe it. If I tell you guys something, you may not believe it. I have never spoken to Stanton. I have never spoken to Stanton Witherspoon in my entire life.
How you got a 10K?
Hold on. I have never, ever spoken personally with Stanton Witherspoon in any way, shape, or form. Not even to come on the radio. I was contacted by other people on the radio that know me, that know I'm an authentic voice in the community, that call me to be on that show. And the reason I joined it, I did not want the radio station to
Mr. Remy Gray, right?
I believe that despite what happened, Spoon Network is an integral part of our information dissemination system, and it should survive. In Liberia, we go to Brenton now. As soon as I go to that man, Brenton now. So I went there as someone that had been in the media, is to resuscitate that station, to make it an information dissemination hotspot that it was meant to be. And you know why I believe it? Instead of say it, because I have never spoken to the guy in my life, and I'm on that network. I have been critical of Spoon Network. But that still does not change the fact that it is an important part of our information dissemination system, and it must survive. I'm there for it to survive. Whatever thing with the justice system, it will take a course.
So Fadiga, I got one question.
No,
Answer your question.
please, we are closing.
What about closing?
No, Tavina, please. Let us close. I'll
Okay.
come to you for your closing.
Oh, then I'm done.
No, you are not asking Fatiga. We are closing. So I want your 1 minute closing statement, please.
That's my closing. It will be very quick.
Yeah.
So I need to, Fadiga said he's there to resuscitate Spoon. So when Spoon is indicted, will you still be there resuscitating him? The station?
Which one of the spoon? The water spoon
When
or the
Station
network?
Water Spoon is indicted, will you still be there to resuscitate Spoon talk?
Do you mean convicted?
I mean, yes, convicted. I'm sorry if that's the word. Convicted.
If he's convicted,
yes or no question.
Will I still be on the network?
Yes or no?
Well, if his conviction doesn't close the network down, yes, I will be on the network.
How would it know? Okay, if you answer my question, I move on.
If I have to spend my own money to keep the network on, I will do it.
That's not. It's okay.
If I have to spend my last time to keep the network on,
thank you, Fadiga.
I believe in the network.
No, let it be so now. Let it be so. You answer my question.
And that's what I said.
That was a direct question.
Yeah, and I answer it directly.
I will hold my thoughts on that. But in closing, a very good show. I just wanted to watch, but Mr. Gilman just poked me. I had to come here. On a serious note, though, Mr. Gilman, there's some things that we have to put politics aside. You're in the greatest country. You and I in the greatest country. We enjoy the safety and everything about this great country. I don't even know what would happen to me if I were not in America. I love America. I can boldly say that. It's been good to me. But, to politicize everything, even when in a loss or a death of a family, then sometimes I was just like, where is Mr. Gilman's soul? Where is his soul? What is the empathy? Someday you went so hard with that woman. I came from church. You went so hard. I was just like, you didn't even empathize. You just went hard, calling her names and all of that. I was just like, there's some things we just can't politicize. I'm not in any party. But at least put your garment down and just, hope for the best. But don't call her name, call her pathological liar. This is not a political thing where you punch a punch. So please stop. Let this be the last night that you go after this like this. If it were your family, you would never have sounded that way. So just
Thank you. Let me go to Moba.
Don't respond. You respond or come out.
Moba Kesari? Okay. So when these things happen, like the case with Justice Cllr, it is incumbent upon every Liberian citizen, regardless of who you are, where you come from, to put aside your partisanship or your commitment to any individual. You have to put Liberia first. If you are a citizen and you are in government and you are enjoying the spoils and the protection of the government, I want you to know, like Justice Cllr, one day you'll be out of government, one day you'll not have the protection you have. When the next government is in power, we should be able to fight for your rights, just as we are doing for Justice Cllr today. Even though Mr. Gaiman is and he is not showing empathy and sympathy to Justice Cllr, but if he were to move to Liberia and something like this happens to him, we will have to stand up and fight for his right. Because we are not doing this because it is Mr. Gaiman. We are doing this because we are all humans and we should be there to protect the rights of our fellow men. If we allow one person to go down like this, they will come for the next person, they will come for the next person, and before you look, they will come for every one of us, and we will literally have no Liberia. We have to
this guy will keep on
fundamental rights of each and every Liberian citizen, regardless of who they are, where they come from, or what they believe in. And what is happening to Justice Cllr is unfortunate. The police has proven to be incompetent. The president has not even visited the family, even though when the former Ghanaian footballer died, the very next day, once his body reached Ghana, he sent monies there. He has not even done that for a Liberian citizen. That is unacceptable. Liberians should come number one in Mr. President's book. But unfortunately, he's living on us. We are feeding him, taking care of him, and providing for his security. He doesn't respect us. That is not a good thing, and we should not support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Momba, you got the last word.
Well, thank you, Dennis. The show was a great show. On the case of Justice Scott, I really want to appeal to the Liberian police. If you are the authority, you have to try to be factual. Because when you put out a statement or you utter any word in a press conference or in print media, people are going to respect your statements. People will believe you because they think you are the authority on a case professional. But on the beginning of this investigation, the police did not do well with all these statements that were false. So I hope going forward, they will try to employ some integrity and professionalism. Stanton, like I said, he was grieving. Whatever advice his colleagues gave him, they were good advice, but at that point, he was in denial. But at this point, he has accepted. And so stepping back, he feels now is the right thing to do. So, but I think he can, get back with his friends. They started stuff together. And I would think that it would be a good thing to bring them back on the show because the same thing they requested him to do, that's exactly what he did now. So instead of bringing new people, he could have brought the same old people to foster their work together. But anyway, it is what it is. Liberia should be keen to listen and watch what happened in Nigeria. If people are not happy, they're not going to go to the polls. They feel their votes are not counted. So, they will be, tired, not interested. So we don't want the same thing to happen in our country. The opposition, whatever it is, put personal pride aside and come together if you want to. Take the state in your hands and take care of Liberians. If you feel that the current leadership is not doing well, then you need to put yourselves together and make sure that you do what it takes to win. So it's all up to them. And I think it is a way that we all should learn from what happened. Coming together make a big difference than to go separate ways and then you get, split the votes. At the end of the day, you don't make an impact. So all over, the show was a great show, and thank to my fellow panelists for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank to all of you for spending your Friday with us. Thank to our viewers, those who watch it now, and even those who will watch later. Always keep your dial set on Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. On that note,
you bring me back so we can do this again.
Yes.
Enjoy
it.
You want to rematch?
Let's end with the song that says we are all Liberians.
What do you believe? Okay, if you talk about it, you want to talk
about it. The guy who always want to rematch, the guy
who give me rest small.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.